Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my right, we have the ghostwriter of Wednesday Comics. Alex, how you doing?
Hello, everyone.
The Spirit of Vengeance.
You're supposed to say flame on, dumbass. Oh, that's fucking Johnny. Damn it.
Yeah, dumb shit.
What does he say? What does Ghostwriter
Pendant stare?
No, or does he just like snap his fingers?
Yeah, he just goes fire.
What does Nicolas Cage do when he becomes
crazy.
Ghostwriter?
Nick Cage, best actor. And across from me, we have
Just lit my mic.
we have young Odin himself. Garrett, how you doing?
Young Odin, I love it. I'm thundering, if you catch my drift.
He can
I don't
barely
even
pick
know
up.
what that means.
I don't either, but it sounds awesome.
Some stuff.
I said thundering.
And I am Steve Rogers in the diner. Marvin, how you doing?
Oh, that one page that let us in on so much information.
We'll talk about it later. What do you think he was eating at the diner? Sandwich? Breakfast?
Ghost peppers.
You think so? He's like, fuck this. I gotta repent.
Well, he's just eating what he is. You are what you eat. Ghost cap, ghost peppers.
Oh, was that the bottom on the bottom one? Turn down a little bit. Ghost peppers. I don't care what that means.
It's hot peppers.
Because you don't
can't
realize
touch them
it's
with your
hot.
skin.
Yeah. What?
You're not supposed to touch them with
Well,
your
you're
bare
not
hands.
supposed to, but like when you eat ghost peppers, like it doesn't hit you instantly. It takes like literally 2-3 seconds. Like you eat it and you're like, okay. And then like 3 seconds later, you're like, oh, I swallowed fucking
Do you think
hot
it's
lava.
part of his superhuman strength that like it doesn't bother him?
No,
The hotness of it?
I would assume his metabolism is so fast. He doesn't even know what's happening.
guys, he's a ghost.
Well, I get what you're saying, but I get what he's
He
saying.
has no
That's
metabolism.
why Captain can't get drunk.
No, he's a clone. I don't know what he is.
He's a ghost.
He's a figment of everyone's imagination.
These are just nicknames. Today, right now, we're talking free talk. This is going to be listener mail. We have a letter from SS himself, Samuel Shelton. What's his middle name? Another S?
I don't think I should give that out, but it is on his Facebook.
Oh, well, I just don't know if it's S. So you don't have to give it out.
It's not an S.
Okay, I thought it's triple S.
No, but Sam is a great guy.
Samuel the Chemist, he wants to be called. It says right here. Let me read this email. I'll read it for you. Here we go. All right, guys. It's Samuel the Chemist taking a little break from doing my best Walter White impression. You know what I noticed? Oh, no, you don't even know who that is. So
Walter White? Fuck you.
No, you know who Walter White is. I was going to say, hey, you know somebody's been looking like Walter White lately, and I just realized you don't know who the fuck they are, so why would you? This is I don't know. For some reason, I thought we worked together. We don't, though. So barring that this is somehow explained in the newest issue of DC Knights. What the fuck? Dark Knights Metal. He wrote it right. I just did it wrong. Even when I look at him, like
When you read it, you're not.
Slow down.
it is the nth metal in the current DC continuity. However, where Marvin may be getting tripped up is that the nth metal was first introduced as the ninth metal back in Flash Volume 1, 1940. And was the term used all the way up to pre-Crisis, featured in many, many 8-issue runs until it was inevitably canceled for its inspiring stories. However, in the late 90s, in a James Robinson, David S. Goyer run on JSA, you can't bring up David S. Goyer. Get the guy out of here.
That's the arc where Martian Manhunter
That's Voldemort
dies, right?
on this show, right? Run on JSA, ninth metal was retcon to nth metal. Also, while I'm not positive, they may have also used the term ninth metal in the JL Unlimited TV show, but the correct term is ninth metal currently. Now, in chemistry and physics, by the way of mathematics, the term N is used for an unknown integer in a series that is either unspecified or infinitely large. You can see an example of it using an equation I have attached. He's attached it here. I'll put it online. Look at our website, WednesdayComics.com. You can see an example of this in the equation I have attached, and it was the bane of my existence when you had to solve for an unknown integer, n. This is also congruent with the definition of nth, which, just taken from Webster Online, means to the extreme or utmost. So essentially, it's the extreme metal, utmost metal, infinite metal, which makes sense when freaking Batman once used it in a batarang to dispel a ghost. It makes Hawkman fly, can produce heat on its own, augment strength, heal people, weaken people, and now apparently it makes people superheroes. Oh yeah, because it was part of Duke,
Right.
in his blood.
That's right. Iron.
You think you got blood in your metal in your blood, you're gonna die? Iron poisoning. Apparently,
Sure, it's a mineral.
apparently,
You have iron in your blood regardless.
Yeah.
what if we have too much?
Then Magneto
Then
pulls it out of your
there
fucking
you-
body.
Apparently, it has
Makes little balls.
infinite possibilities. Well, besides making a Hawkman comic actually good, that shit's impossible. Thank you, Samuel Shelton. Anybody can email us, WednesdayComics605@gmail.com. First off, he brought up Baltimore. We can't talk about David S. Goyer, so we'll skip that part. But I do think They actually talk about, back in the day they referred to as ninth metal. But I think that it's, what I realized reading a lot of books about comic book history is that a lot of people like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, like all these people, were like, we don't know science, so let's make up our own science. And then eventually enough people read that they're like, do you realize that doesn't make sense? Like the Fantastic Four going to space and getting shocked with cosmic rays. They're like, cosmic rays, like you're going to get shot with cosmic rays going up there in a second to make you turn into the thing. Like so stuff like that. They've changed stuff to make it more realistic because people like Alex were like, not logical. But
they got a good sunburn.
It does make sense though for this metal to be, instead of being the ninth, and there's possibility of like 10 through infinite, that you just say, hey, it's the nth metal. Like we don't know what it is.
We don't know
powerful.
the designation. Yeah.
We'll see how it shakes out in metal. Obviously, it's a big, it's the freaking name. DC metal. Nope, Dark Knights. That was a joke.
Well, hey, thanks for the email, Sam.
Yes. Clarified something that we were questioning, like 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
About roughly. Whenever DC Metal 1 came out. Yeah, 4 weeks. I look at you because you know when it comes out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just you looking at me going, is that right?
Speaking of metal, did you guys get a chance to reading Batman
Murder Machine? Not yet.
Machine? No.
Nope.
It was on my stack for tonight, but then I was like, well, we're not going to talk about it, so I'm not going to read it.
I looked at the art. Art was really good.
Is it it's the team from Cyborg, right?
I'm not sure.
It's not? Okay. It just happened to be the Flash team was on.
Yeah, I'm not
Red
sure how
Dead.
they worked that out. I'm not sure why Cyborg, they're just like, get somebody new. But for Flash.
Did you not get
I
it,
read
though?
Cyborg, so I know why.
It was okay.
You know, the Cyborg art
right.
didn't bother me.
It started
That
good,
story,
yeah.
the art or the writing was bad for me.
It was just crazy
It was-
in your face.
But also, did you end up getting Suicide Squad?
Yes.
I did.
The middle
yes. Even though I haven't read Gotham Resistance 1 yet. So we'll see. But I mean, it's
That's good art,
the art's
too.
by Sajic.
Yeah.
So, and I've loved him on Aquaman.
I even actually was thinking about going back and getting 21 through 26 or 21 through 25, but Sajak didn't do the art, so I was like, nope, not going to.
He did the art on 20.
I knew he did the
this
art on
one.
20 because
Yeah.
I remember 20 going, oh man, I don't want to drop this book if it's going to look this good. Glad I dropped it.
Yeah, so I mean, that's something I saw some reviews for those two books, and they've been getting positive reviews. And people have been saying one thing that is just like fun stories and interesting takes on stuff. Stuff that these stuff happen in different universe, maybe alternate universes. Something about out of continuity. We'll talk about that later. Why not my script? What are we talking about first here? Let's talk about some
Love
books.
that foreshadowing.
You're right.
Hey, well, by the way, also, thank you, Sam, for the email. WednesdayComics605@gmail.com, on Twitter @WednesdayComics, or Facebook.com/ Wednesday Comics Podcast. We had some Serge America and Bagging Born and Bad Boy. We're also writing on our Facebook this week. You can get in touch with me and Alex. Not this guy.
What are you talking about?
I'm just kidding. You're on there.
I've been all right. I've been better.
You've been stepping it up lately, yeah.
Thank you.
2 tweets at least the whole week from here to the next show.
2 tweets? I have to
tweets.
tweet my own tweets?
No, you have to tweet an original tweet, 2 of them.
I mean,
Yes,
retweet.
you have to write your
No,
tweets.
not retweets.
I have to write my
You have to
own.
write 2 tweets.
What the fuck? Why do I have to go to celebrity status? I just hit the fucking button that says like, and the other one that's like the 2 arrows in a circle.
This guy writes unique tweets each week.
Yeah, they don't make any fucking sense.
What do you mean? He
It says
said
pastrami. Pastrami writes those.
he said that Turtles was good.
That was
Does
like
it
a
make
month-
sense?
that was like a
He was
month
like
ago.
6 issues ago
That was
when they were actually in
Universe?
it.
No, that was Universe.
Yeah,
they weren't in
Universe,
it.
Universe. They weren't in
All
it.
right.
This guy liked it though. Kamandi Challenge number 9. This is Tom King. Art by Kevin Eastman and Freddie Williams II. Oh, I spelled Williams wrong. Well, who went to school? Not me. Tom King. This one I've been waiting for.
Hands down, the best Kamandi issue.
This issue was so good. I was like, man, can Tom King write the rest of this? I'll
Yeah.
get the rest of it. Here's the reason why. And there was that Margaret Bennett one, and I believe Bill Willingham. Were the 3
Yeah, I
best
thought
issues
you're
of this
right.
whole
I
thing.
agree. The Bill Willingham one I thought was the best up until
Which one
this
was that
point.
one?
That's the one where you get the detective guy.
Detective Tiger?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know why? I was thinking about it. I was reading this issue, and I was like, because those 3 decided to do something different with their story.
Yeah.
Margaret-
Instead of
yeah.
just doing fucking normal
This
safe
was
shit.
a single room comic. They never leave the room.
Yeah.
And it's so suspenseful. You don't know what's beyond the thing. But he never explains it. He's going to leave it to the next person, which obviously it's probably going to ruin what's behind the thing. But so suspenseful, being it's in this room. Nothing really happens except people come in and get taken away. But all that suspense, it was like building up through the whole thing. And they kept building up that the kid was going to be taken. And he's like, don't take my kid, don't take my kid. So Kamandi, and also I realized in this story, I don't know, maybe you guys will correct me, but I feel like this is the first time Kamandi's a hero. Like in other ones, it felt like he was helping out of like trying to keep himself to survive. And like he would meet people along the way and like they would help him. So he'd be like, oh, I guess I owe you. I got to save you too. And this one, right away, he didn't know any of these people, but right away he was like, I got to fight this thing. Like I can't let them be taken by it. And
This robot's a threat and I have to stop it.
And he kept trying to get stronger and stronger because he wanted to beat it, and he never beat it. But he still had that drive to be a hero. And I thought this one, I was like, wow, I like this Kamandi in this issue.
Yeah,
like I would be serious with this Kamandi.
I mean, what was it, like 230 some days?
237, I thought.
Yeah, almost a full year.
Right. I mean, getting super strong and then fighting this robot every time, and it was just like a little bit at a time.
This is the first one that I've actually felt time pass, other than Detective Tiger.
Right. Well, and you're right. If it, you know, keeping it original and like, you know, people can predict what's happening, that's not fun. Especially when I hear challenge in the fucking title. This, what Tom King and Kevin Eastman and Freddie Williams did, like, definitely changed the game. It's like if 10, 11, and 12 aren't on the same fucking level, you should have put Tom King at the fucking end. Yeah. Because like I could have been satisfied. Like
this would have been a great ending.
There was a part in the beginning when he's talking to the guy in there, the whatever
elephant,
and
Herbert.
He basically, you know, Tom King went back and read every single issue because he explained everything that happened from issue 1 to this. So instead of somebody just being like, well, he fell into the water puddle at the end, like I can do whatever the fuck I want. He actually paid homage to the others.
Every single story being like, here's what I've been through.
Yeah.
And he said, now I'm here. And now
hell, like, this issue in itself could be the beginning, the middle, and the end. Yeah. I enjoyed even the end of it.
If this was a single issue, I mean, this by itself is like one of the best issues of the year, I think.
Right.
But even like if this is the only thing that came out from Kamandi, you'd be like, best series of the whole, like it's the best series ever.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need a lot to tell a good story. Like people feel the need to like over explain a lot of things, but you don't need to. Like Tom understands, we're on first name basis, understands that, like you don't have to explain who that guy is. We just know he's a threat. He's stealing people. Like he never went to explain like who he is, what kind. We didn't even know. Like he looks like a robot, but he could be like an alien inside of a suit. We don't know. We never explained like who the other people are. We just got context from Kamandi interacting with them, but they never explained, hey, I'm from this place. I'm from this place. But like we understood like this mother really wants to save her kid because every time he comes in, she gets scared. This turtle is tired of being in this room because he's like, take me. Why aren't you taking me? He's been in there for how long? Like 70 some years?
I thought it was over.
Yeah, it was something like
it was a long
time.
It was years.
That made me sad too. And I was just like,
he even stands in front of the robot, goes, I'm ready.
Yeah, what's the worst torture is leaving that room or being stuck in that room. Like
forever,
yeah. So like there's a lot of things where I was like, Tom really knows like what's scary. Like being stuck in that room for that guy, having your kid taken away, and then there's that little bird that like writing the story, like trying to imagine a world outside of here, or like trying to imagine what would happen if somebody saved them. Kamandi was successful in saving them, and then the robot comes up to him and he's like, "But I haven't finished the story yet." Like that part like broke my fucking heart. I was like, "Come on!" I was like, "This little bird." But I don't know the bird. You know what I mean? Right. Like in one issue, I care more about that bird than I was like. We had a couple of issues with some recurring customers, recurring characters, and I was just like, I cared more about this bird in 2 pages.
And I think what a perfect way to pay homage to Jack Kirby. Like you don't realize this whole issue is taking place inside of a tomb, basically.
Yeah.
And at the end, you know, he says a quote like it's Tom King actually as Tom King. I mean, it got meta, but it's a quote that he morphed into a Jack Kirby quote. And all you see in this room is just a single coffin that's closed that Kamandi had been using as like a table, basically. Yeah. But it's just like, what a great issue. I mean, it rounds it back to Jack Kirby, like paying homage to him. 10.
Yeah, absolutely 10 for me too. Yep. That art, let's not even talk about that art. Kevin Eastman and Freddie Williams, black and white.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that flashy. Like there's a lot of suspense from like the monster, robot. We'll see whatever the antagonist is coming in, and like these close shots of like Kamandi's face, stuff like that, because you can't really see what's going on, and you have this tension being like, what's going on? Who's he taking? And then when he's not in there, these wide shots of like Kamandi like training, and you're like, I think he's going to win this time. Like I
know. I kept going. Oh, I've got this. I've got this.
There's going to be a happy ending. Like he's going to get out. He's going to save these people. But he never does. Yeah. Like it's a bleak ending. The whole thing's a bleak story. But yet, I felt like I was like, Kamandi. I was like, that's the hero I want. Like from the story. Like I actually, even though the whole thing's bleak because people keep getting taken away and he never saves anybody, just him wanting to save people in this issue was like uplifting. I was like, oh, he's doing a good job. Really like when I read this, I was like, get Tom King a Kamandi book. But then again, as anything I read by Tom King, I'm like, get this guy on this kind of book.
No,
except for you guys don't agree with this guy, but Batman. But
he's getting better.
You know what?
I tell you what,
I've heard him in multiple interviews say that he put himself in like a corner, being like, I had to write a certain kind of story for Batman, rather than be like, listen, let me bring something new to Batman. And so I think for a while he was, didn't know what to do.
I tell you what, that again, the final fight arc with Bane, that's where he found his stride and has been gold since. Although I know I'm not a fan of his
jokes and
riddles, but I tell you what, those Kite Man issues, gold.
Yeah, this is a really great issue. If you're going to get if you haven't gotten any so far, you can just get this as a single issue.
Yeah,
and it works. They even explain what happens, what's been happening. What he does to the elephant, Herbert. Is Herbert? He explains to him what's going on. So like, the context of the whole thing. Like in one issue, what's going on.
Dude, I tell you what, this probably would be one of my favorite issues of the year so far. It's just a book in itself, tells you what had already happened. I wouldn't even have to get 1 through 8. And this book was satisfying.
You know what's great about this too? You can tell in this series, whichever cliffhanger doesn't end in him falling has actually been fucking good.
I know.
Those 3 issues.
Yeah.
It's been 3 out of the 9.
I guess this one was him falling into a dragon's mouth, but still.
Yeah.
Last issue, at the end of 8, was him falling into a dragon's mouth.
But in this one, he was getting dragged away to something we don't know.
Right.
It's like a perfect ending for the next person because you can make it whatever you want, but also makes me be like, I don't need to know. Like have him wake up and already be gone from wherever that was or something. I don't know. I know it's not going to be that. I know it's going to be somebody explaining what's going on, but I like the way that Tom is just like, it's so frightening for him to be taken on to the beyond where you don't know what's going on. But like I said, somebody's going to be like, oh, here's what's going on. And it's going to be less scary. But what Tom did, and Kevin Eastman, and Freddie Williams. Great. Loved it.
I think the sad thing is we're going to get to issue 10, and it's going to be a shit fest.
Who's doing 10? Let me look it up.
Where's the issue? It says on the back.
What does it?
Yeah.
It's right here. Oh, yeah. Come on, challenge. Look at this cover, too.
I wish Eastman did it.
The one thing that in this book made me want, being that it was black and white, is that the little bird is talking about the blue monster that the whole group came together to fight. I want to see what this thing looks like. Yeah. I want to see what this bird is imagining.
Greg Pak and Alan Davis.
I like Greg Pak as a writer.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, the whole thing was I think Tom really knows how to work with artists well, like how to fit their style. And I guess Kevin Eastman, I haven't read many comics by him, but this one I was like, wow, it's really a great issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this issue. And for me, for like somebody, I didn't get the last issue. Like for somebody who was like, I'm done with this. For me to get this issue like 10, like it's how great this issue is. Now I'm gonna get the next one. We'll see, but
yeah,
I mean we just been done.
I don't know. In all honesty, I know for Garrett and I want to finish out just to finish it out.
Yeah,
but I know the rest of the series could be shit, and know that 9 was satisfying with the 10.
But you can see that there's a chance for each issue to be great. So, if anything, meet the bar. Yeah. You don't have to pass the bar. Meet the fucking bar.
I think my hope is that the next team goes, oh, holy shit. King knocked this out of the park. I at least need to get myself a home run.
I think what we've learned is that 6 people have said, oh, Kamandi challenge, here's what I have to do. And 3 people were like, oh, here's what I can do.
Right.
They were like, let's think outside the box. Where 3 people were like, well, they did this. Let me have them keep going somewhere else. But like the 3 of them were like, no, so like do something else.
Yeah.
And like you said, the most satisfying 3 issues because I don't know if it's just because they were different than the other ones. It was refreshing. But I really do think those are just great issues. The Bill Willingham one, the Margaret Bennett one, and then this one.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's the king. Action Comics number 988, written by Dan Jurgens, art by Ryan Sook, and colors by Hi-Fi.
Love this issue.
Really?
Loved it.
I like
how
the
much I hated
backstory.
it.
I like the backstory of Jor-El,
Yeah.
but I'm still.
Okay.
I'm with Superman going, are you really the right answer? Are you really the bad guy?
Let me bend your mind to my thinking.
Okay.
I feel like that obviously we know when he gets saved from Krypton's destruction, who saved him?
No.
Dr. Manhattan. Spoilers. It's implied. It might not be, but
It's the only thing that makes sense.
It's the only thing that makes
person
sense.
who's strong enough to do that.
So now this proves that yes, Rebirth is main continuity, but at this point in time, 3 minutes to midnight, we know this is now, it's almost like Flashpoint a little bit. But what Dr. Manhattan can do is he can inject himself into any matter, time, whatever, space, time, whatever.
He could very well be Jor-El, couldn't he?
Right.
And
No, not Dr. Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan saved Jor-El. Didn't you get that?
No,
there was he was pulling him from different things. So what that tells us is he's not Dr. Manhattan, but Dr. Manhattan basically changed the timeline because our knowing of the timeline up till Rebirth is that, Jor-El and Lara died on Krypton. Okay? But since Rebirth, now Jor-El's alive. He's been alive since since Jeff Johns came on to Superman and Mr. Oz first appeared. So meaning that even Dr. Manhattan has been involved.
You mean the first Superman? The first issue of Rebirth Superman?
No. Jeff Johns, when he came on with John Romita Jr. in the New 52, Mr. Oz got introduced into that.
Oh,
but you don't know it's Jor-El, obviously.
Okay.
You just see Mr. Oz for the first time. But that means that Dr. Manhattan at some point in time interjected himself to save Jor-El to make him his, number 2, basically. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if Dr. Manhattan never got involved, Jor-El obviously would never be in this story.
Correct.
But this is a point where Dr. Manhattan changed time itself to make it so Jor-El... It's like there's 2 timelines, but Dr. Manhattan made this timeline the actual continuity. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. Do you really?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're just saying a lot of...
But I think that makes it a fucking great issue. It's like, well, we've perceived for 80 years, 79, 80 years, that Jor-El and Lara died, but he's actually back. I mean, you're literally seeing Jor-El burning to death with Lara in his arms. And then, his face is starting to get burned. He's about to start, combusting. But then Dr. Manhattan, or Blue Force person, saves him. And Jor-El doesn't understand why. And then Jor-El gets held, not held captive, but he gets taken in by this refugee family. And the warlords around there find out about it. And they take the young boy of this family and make him
kill... Who turned him in.
Yeah, who turned him in.
Turned the family in.
Yeah, and he turns around, and the soldiers make him kill his entire family. Right in front of Jor-El, and who again, then Dr. Manhattan pulls him. So Dr. Manhattan through this is obviously making Jor-El, this is all theory that's Dr. Manhattan, but somebody's making Jor-El experience all these life lessons, and I'm sure there's plenty more to go through with this Oz effect. But the fact that, even Keelix considers Jor-El legit.
I always say Kelix.
Kelix, whatever.
Why not? Just
you put, even the art by Ryan Sook, did you like the art?
Art was fine.
I thought the similarity in looks between Jor-El and him looked. Really
he does a good job making them look like father and son.
Right.
But
so it made the story so believable for me that I give this a 9. The last issue, I'd probably give a 7. Because it's always we're going to lead up into the last page and here's the cliffhanger. But this explained it enough for me that I'm in on this story.
I guess for me, I'm probably at an 8, 7 or 8. I'm still it's okay. This is like Turtles universe for you. There wasn't enough Superman for me to give a shit.
It's not though, because it is in Jor-El's point of view, a tiny bit. But it changes everything you know about Superman and his history.
Sure.
With TMNT, it's the mutant animal...
Things will never be the same.
Got his toe cut off, and it's oh, that sucks.
Can't walk the same anymore.
Right. So
it was good. It just, you know what? It's. I think you're right. We probably should have been reading Detective for this week to talk about it, to see where other things are tying in. But it was fine.
Can I make a dumb statement?
Yeah.
Like from outside in? I mean, looking in. That sounds boring as shit. I don't know.
I admit.
But maybe I just don't know the context. I don't know. It just sounds like I'd be like, I'm not even.
It's showing you these life lessons that Jor-El has learned from being. So he's on Krypton. It's going to blow up.
I feel like I need context, but like, I don't know.
And he gets pulled away from it.
So I think that's the reason why he's like not into it, because he doesn't have context. You have context.
Right.
So I'm not sure if I would like
Right.
it.
He's explaining.
I just wait for all the bad guys from Superman to show up to kill baby Clark Kent.
Krypton. This fall in sci-fi.
Fuck that show. He is basically explaining how he's getting right in front of Superman. So it's going to be the next couple issues. He's going to go through his backstory to get there.
So is this actually his dad?
I think it is.
It's actually his dad?
I think it's actually his dad now. Just for the fact that this timeline, like the normal timeline that we know, that we've known the whole history of comics, has been overwritten. Not rewritten, overwritten.
It's like Star Trek, J.J. Abrams.
Sure.
He went back in time, and so he made an alternate timeline. This is alternate timeline, is that what you're saying?
But this is the correct timeline
like
that
this
has been overwritten.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Manhattan.
No, because I thought those Star Trek universes were alternate universes.
Yeah, it's an alternate timeline.
Alternate timeline.
It's the same universe. It's just
so this is one cohesive timeline.
But didn't you say Dr. Manhattan fucked up the timeline?
He did, but it overwrit the current timeline. There wasn't a skew. Basically, he pulled Jor-El.
That's what happens in Star Trek. Yeah,
okay.
They overwrit.
Right. Okay, I guess we're saying the same thing. I don't know. We got to read more to get more depth into it, but I'm excited to see what the direction is, especially for a mystery that I've been wanting to know for 5 years.
Hey, Ryan Sook's a good artist. How was it art? Good?
It looked really good. I mean, put that yellow S on that fucking cape, like I love.
Speaking of Ryan Sook, I just looked it up. Him and Gail Simone are doing the last issue of Kamandi Challenge.
Damn, that'll be good.
So, it's a good team.
I'm on board for the writer. I could take it or leave it with the art.
There's also a backup by Lin Wen and somebody else.
Isn't
Jose
Dan
Garcia.
DiDio?
No.
He's not ending?
He's not ending. The next book is issue 7, by the way. I couldn't end it on this thing.
So, Black Monday Murders, number 7, written by Jonathan Hickman, art by Tom Coker. What'd you guys think?
Awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was really great. You know what Hickman does great? I was reading this issue and I thought about it. And then I thought back to his other comics and even issues of this series. And I think he does really well. And even that issue that we really love is he knows how to fucking pace the book. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't feel like it's ever too slow or ever too fast. He knows exactly when to put in those other things, like the emails, to break up the story. And when we have this beginning part where the detective and professor, right, are going down to meet, what's his name? What's the guy's name? Oh, jeez. And to go down there to meet him, to ask him some questions. And then it cuts to something else for a little bit. And then at the end, it goes back to it. But like when they go down into there and you see it, and then it cuts away until the end of the issue, like the whole time you're like, what's going on in there? Like what's going on? And then when you get to the end, it's so tenseful in there. He's like, you only get a few questions. Your time's done when I say it's done. And he has a translator. And then they also have somebody who's like basically like the moderator. And there's just some random guys holding the translator.
Yeah.
And they all, by the way, character designs, Tom Coker, like, great, 100%. Like,
well, Mammoth's been like on the cover of a couple of books.
Yeah. So we've seen him, but like this is the first time where he's
in person
interacting with other characters. Right. That ending is fucking terrifying.
It is.
When he's like leaving and he's like, "Oh, do you know what that means?" And poof, they all grab him real quick. I actually got scared.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit." He's trying to tell him, he's like, he didn't cause the
1987
collapse. Yeah, the financial collapse in 1988. I thought.
Oh, that was 87.
That might have been 87.
One of those two.
One of theirs. Show the issue. He didn't cause it. You know, that means somebody else caused it, and then
it's got to be one of the people. Obviously, we've seen in the series.
So it's artificial. It's like it was an artificial thing they made. They only did it to make it seem like he was back because he mentioned Mammoth. What was his name?
Mammoth.
Okay, that when he comes out,
he's got the skull of a mammoth.
When he needs to feed.
No, he doesn't.
What is that skull of?
It's a skull of a ram.
Or a mammoth?
Or a mammon?
Mammon, whatever.
Okay.
I thought it was Mammon.
So when Mammon like comes back, he feeds and he needs so much power that's what causes the collapses every time. So somebody faked it one time to cause chaos. So now they're looking to see who caused that. And then they also confirmed that the how do I never remember any characters' names? What's the guy who died at the beginning of the book that started this whole thing?
His name Rothschild.
Daniel. Yeah. Daniel died, and they confirmed that the creepy old guy killed him. He was like, well, Daniel, his blood was sucked out, and Victor, I think his name is?
Yeah, Victor.
Victor got an overabundance of blood that day. So they confirmed that it was him. He's like, I knew it, detective. And you just see Victor, like, basically bathing in, like, his blood oath. And I was just like, this whole thing, like, this issue, like, set up tension going forward that... I don't know. Like all of it's been great. Like when you burst. I mean, we always been loving it for a while, but like this issue put some context and like put some more. We got some answers, but like puts more mystery on like what's actually happening. And
this is way more supernatural than I was expecting.
Yes, also
holy
that.
Shit.
And Hickman,
5 issues left. I mean, we have a lot more stories.
Is it actually only 12?
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
So like Hickman knows, like I said, how to pace this thing. So like we're halfway, a little bit over halfway, and he knows he's like, okay, this is the perfect part. Like we need this now. And so for even overarching story, like we really need this issue. Not that it was slow the rest of the time, but like this is the thing that's going to have a catalyst for the rest of the stuff.
It made a lot of things make sense. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. Some things that created more questions, but
Tom Coker's amazing too, by the way.
Oh, that art.
Oh, Jesus. It's so good.
Daniel Rothschild's sister, what's her name?
Is it not Rhea, is it?
No, not Rhea.
No, Rhea's somebody else.
She's on the last page of this book. Tom Coker draws her.
Beatrix?
Yeah, like the most... Yeah, she looks like the devil. Like I like how he can draw like faces, and she looks like she's fucking ready to throw down with something.
He's also great about subtle facial cues. There's a part where they see the receptionist, and they're like, you know, that's the old way. We don't do it that way anymore. And she goes, times change. And there's just a panel of her smiling, and you know that she's just like, fuck you, like this is what we do now. And you're the old way, because he's not part of that group anymore.
Right.
And I just thought that one panel of her smiling tells enough to let me know that he's on the outs. Like, he's not with them anymore. Like, he knows how to do this kind of stuff just because he used to, but he hasn't been around forever. And he even says, like, detective, you woke me up. Like, now, like, before I didn't care, but now that you came and asked me these questions, and now we're going to go talk to him, I'm really into this. Like, we need to find some answers. This issue was great. Dumas is, I think, great character for this kind of story. Like you always need somebody from the outside, like looking in to like figure out what's going on and be the person that way it doesn't feel like that is exposition. It's somebody figuring out what's going on.
Right. And we're figuring it out with them from their point of view.
But I think him as a character is not like somebody who's like dumb. He's smart. He's like finding these things out by himself. And when we're learning from him, like we're making the connection that he is. And be like, okay, yeah, this is the most logical thing to go to do this and do this, and so like he knows. I really like this book a lot. I think this was strong. I want to say 10, but I feel like I just gave the last book a 10. But I shouldn't judge it based on.
I was gonna give this one a 10. Once I turned the page and I saw the supernatural-esque to it and just how well the story was told.
I think this is the second best issue from that other one.
3
that we liked. Yeah.
I am gonna give this a 9. Oh, this is being nitpicky. Like, the email pages were great, but the fact that this is only a 36-page book, and like...
Oh, you didn't like that it took up pages?
10 of the pages.
But you know what, those...
I get it, but...
I felt like they're necessary.
Make it 50 then, because I don't want, like... It was necessary to cut up the tension. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's like you add only one line of dialogue, and you're using a whole page. I'm like...
I understand, but if you're going to tell me a story and you already have a beginning and an end, and you know how you're going to tell it, then it really doesn't matter when you put it in there.
But that'd be like us being nitpicky about issue 3 when the redacted information is mostly blacked out. You're just reading 4 words.
But you're reading the actual transcript. You don't see them. You do. It switches between them.
You're not seeing all the
majority of it was redacted. It was just
that's fine. Words. But we still know what's going on, except for those redacted parts.
Well, see, here's what I got from the emails.
There's still exposition.
They were like, where are you at? Like, and you're supposed to be here. And he's like, no, I got called away. So you get somebody who's angry at somebody for leaving. And he's like, why are you there? Like, why you could be there? And then there's a news story about a riot or a building blowing up. What was it?
Yeah, it was like a building.
Did you do this? I'm really worried. What's happening? They don't answer for a while. And they go, yeah, I went here to talk to this person. She called me. And he was like, okay, send my love. make sure hopefully everything's okay. So you get somebody who was angry at first, then worried that like something happened to the person, and they'd be like, "Oh, you met her," and now he's scared.
Right.
So like you can tell some character dynamics just from those, like you said. Just
yeah, I get why they did it. Like I still enjoyed it for what it was, but taking up 10 pages to do it, I didn't agree with. Like I thought that was.
See, normally if it was like any other book where it didn't have a definitive end, I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Like why are you wasting pages here? But if it's something that Hickman
Supplements
he
the
knows
story.
he knows what these 12 issues are. He knows that I have to do all this stuff to get there. It's not like he's wasting pages. It's just that he knows, oh, this has to go here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like this would have been like, even if he had 15 issues, he knew that he had to put these emails in there somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just my internal. That's why I say it's my internal demon with this. It's like paying $5.99 for a 50-page.
I think it's just instinct though to be like, why are you wasting my money? But like, he's not really wasting money at the beginning. He was giving you more comic pages for less money. So
that's true.
I wouldn't be surprised if you did that at the end as well. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Here's all that stuff you paid for.
Right.
Love it.
Oh,
this is one of my favorite series. Like
it's so good.
It would be so like you can't obviously jump in here. This thing is going to be 1 through 12, like a complete thing.
You have to read one.
I think that first trade is out, so I would read that first trade. Yeah, I think it's 1 through 6.
This is one of those books I want to read when all 12 issues come out.
Yeah, I want to reread.
That's what I thought about when reading
it.
this one. I was like, I got to go back and like read this whole thing together.
It probably makes. I mean, it makes sense, but it makes a lot more sense.
I follow things, but I have the same problem with you as I can't remember these.
There's a lot of
characters,
and there's a lot of different plots going on right now.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to give it a 10. Loved it.
You give it a 9?
I'm giving it
10. Oh, me.
It's you.
Oh yeah, your script buddy needs to help you.
Sorry.
No worry, I got it right here. Marvel Legacy. This is John.
You needed to read the 8 artists that are part of this book.
I thought this was Hickman again. Jason Aaron, Asad Rubik doing the art with Steve McNiven. Also, additional art, Chris Samney, Russell Dodderman, Alex Maleev, Ed McGuinness, Stuart Inman, Wade Von Grambauger, Pepe Lavares, Jim Chung, Daniel Acuna, Greg Land, Jay Liston, Mike DeDito Jr., and David Marquez.
15 artists. 15.
What do you guys think of Marvel Legacy #1?
15 artists.
Hold on a second. Colors by Matthew Wilson.
And one color.
That's a lot of coloring to do.
I think he just did the main story.
Oh.
He did the other stuff.
So this kind of had a little Civil War 2 in it. Basically,
just set up
Marvel Legacy
else.
preview.
Yeah, so it's just setting up for everything else. I just paid $6 or $7 for a book telling me what's all coming out, what's all being set up.
Which, yeah, the jumping around in storylines, and then having other storylines connect through those. Oh fuck! What was going on?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, the art was great. The art was the best part about this. I thought the storytelling was just all over the fucking place. And there was a lot of like, in movies where you go to like a horror movie and they throw jumps at you.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you fucking got me. Like that's what this was. It was like they were forcing things at me. Like, can we do the spoiler with one of the return characters?
You can do spoilers whenever you want.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Wolverine. That was so forced down your fucking throat. Like
the beer truck chasing.
Yeah, they do 4 pages, and then your fourth one is him, like, hey guys, I'm Wolverine, I'm back. I was like, all right. Takes all the gravitas away from the death of Wolverine.
So it sounds like we're gonna disagree.
I know you said that at the beginning because I'm
really
ready to hear why you liked it.
Those moments in here. So you know what? DC Universe Rebirth did the same thing. They had
one artist.
They had other books on it. No, they have both of ours.
I thought they were all Gary Frank.
I don't think so.
I think so.
We have to look at it again. Well, even if he did, even if it's multiple artists, they had other stories in there. They had Blue Beetle. They had there's Titans. They set up other things in there.
Yeah.
But it all felt like it was leading towards the same thing. I actually felt in this one they all were like leading towards the same thing. There was a couple.
Which is what?
There was a couple of things. Getting back to original roots, Captain America thing. I actually really liked
the one page where you're sitting at a bar.
Yeah, because in that one page was more Steve than I've seen him in the last year. Him calling her ma'am.
Ghost.
Him calling her ma'am, like, can we turn that TV down, ma'am? And he's just at a diner eating, don't want to be by himself. Like that by itself, I was like, okay, that's the Steve. That's who I want to see. And then even like the Deadpool thing, I actually really like that art in Deadpool. I don't know who that is.
That Deadpool was fine. That didn't bother me so much.
I was like, okay. Well, that wasn't like, he wasn't
trying to be
He was actually
funny,
sincere,
yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
As long as it's not Zenpool, because that Zenpool from Oh shit! What was it called? What was the Annihilation one?
I'm not sure.
No idea.
Fuck.
Don't look at me. I fucking
No, you
know.
got it too. It was the 9-issue run where Red Skull takes over. Everyone.
Oh, Uncanny Avengers?
Yeah, where everyone's brain gets switched around. Good guys are bad guys.
Oh, I never read that. Never mind.
Oh, Axis?
There you go.
Axis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Axis. Horrible.
Yes.
But, like, yeah, there was a couple that I didn't like. I felt the Phoenix thing when, well, not the Phoenix thing, but the Jean thing when Wolverine comes out and she goes, welcome back. Like, I thought that was fucking, I was like, you didn't need that. For what reason?
Just because
Just
that's
have a
how
Jean
Phoenixes are doing it. They'll come back from dead.
There was the Shield thing, and I thought that was kind of edged in there for no reason. But I mean, the rest of it, like, what else was there in here? There was
Well, we had
There's Odin's son,
Valeria and Franklin Richards at the end.
best part of the whole issue.
Johnny
Yeah, I
and
know
the
you'd
thing.
be loving that. That was
Oh.
cool when he shot up the Fantastic
flare gun?
Four thing.
Even the Sam Wilson, Thor, Jane, and the Ironheart, I actually like that part.
Oh, really?
That's the part I like the least.
Oh, really? I like that part.
I don't think it was enough for them to be calling themselves the Avengers.
Yeah,
But see, I
Ironheart
think that's
fucks
what
up.
that's what this whole issue is talking about. Is like they're trying to live up to a legacy, and people are telling them you can't live up to this. There's certain people who only can live up to this legacy, and they were saying there's so many of them trying to do it. Like, does it really matter if like they live up to it, or is it them trying to live up to it is really what matters in this? And so they were trying to do it. I mean, they're just trying to save people. In that section, by the way, the only thing I didn't like was Sam was like, gonna wear my digs for the last time. I was like, okay, that just seems like it was very meta.
Also, the two cap shields.
But
One's fake.
the best, double the best.
Prototype.
But actually, that was like probably the best thing I've read with Sam Wilson as Captain America for a while. So I was like, oh, cool. I didn't
Aaron
know.
wrote it.
Well, actually, that's the thing. That's the thing. I was reading this and I was like, I feel like if that scene was written, and I don't want to brag on Bendis, but I feel like if that scene was written by Bendis, it'd be overly jokey and to a point where I'm like, okay, they all can't be comedians. Like, we'll talk about that later. But I mean, in that part, like Ironheart was the only one making jokes, and like they were like, it felt like they all had their own sense of humor rather than being all the same, have all the same sense of humor. So while there were jokes, I felt like they naturally were coming off one another.
Oh, it's really because I thought the Thor thing where she's talking about making out with Captain didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
See, and I actually
Hence
thought
me taketh your lips. Or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck
I
she
thought
says.
that was I was like that is like the best Thor I've read in a while, because I hate that in the other Avengers thing she just talks like Thor. So it's like, how's this character any different? All you do is replacing her basically with a female, just have a female character rather than have a different character. When she said all that stuff, I was like, wow, this actually feels like she has her own character and she's Thor. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, but
not
I guess
just a carbon copy of the other person.
Sometimes I kind of see it as in like Black Hammer, where Black Hammer is now Lucy as Black Hammer. The hammer almost makes you what you are.
Yeah, but I don't like that the hammer is like sentient and like makes the person. That's not how it's been before. And that was something that Jason Aaron came up with. But I feel like in this one, he kind of went back on it a little bit. He was kind of like, oh, she's her own person. She has a hammer. Like, he kind of took that away. The one thing that bugged me about this, and the only thing about this issue, I liked it, but I don't trust it.
Yeah, same.
I don't trust that Marvel is going to make these changes long term. I just feel like this is like,
What changed?
Yeah, I don't see what the changes are.
I mean, besides
Ghost
Wolverine being back.
really, I felt like these Marvel stories that were in here felt more like Marvel than they have in a while.
I don't know. Like
Especially
it
the
didn't change
beginning,
anything.
The early Avengers part with Jason Aaron, I was like, there's a lot of mythology there. There's a lot of continuity. Odin and the original Phoenix, like all these characters that have been around for a while, like getting back into that legacy thing, showing you that these heroes, like these were the original heroes. So the heroes that you think are like, why are they replacing all my heroes? They've been replaced already. Like, it happens all the time. So like even that part, I was like, okay, there's like more continuity here. It's like connected, but yet separate. I don't know. I felt like more Marvel than it didn't feel like they were trying to sell me on movies and TV.
You didn't see all the ads for all their shit?
Yeah, well, obviously ads, but the ads aren't part of the story.
I like how Inhumans ad is still in this book, even though it's not happening.
Right.
It's happening. It's just they're not making a second season.
I thought it got canceled. Oh, I see. It just got canceled before.
And then I thought one of the stronger parts was the Star Brand Ghost Riders part about it, but I didn't think it was enough to overlast. Yeah. Like, it should have been like 3 pages and that's it. Not like the whole fucking issue.
Most of this felt like all these things in here felt like they were like, okay, let's make some Marvel stories. Like, they went back and had a Celestial. And I was like, okay, that's really Marvel stuff, like the cosmic stuff. The only thing I didn't like was that Logan came back and he has an Infinity Stone, and they're calling it Infinity Stone, like that's like the movies. That's the only part that I was like, okay.
Instead of it being a gem.
Are you, so you told me you're going to go back to Legacy and be like how Marvel used to be, but you still can't call them gems. Like, I understand they got destroyed, and Hickman's around Avengers, and now these are different things. But you made them like stones because that's what the movie is. Like, that's the only thing that's like, are you really going back to that? Or are you just kind of like trying to put a cover over it and be like, hey, see, it's different. But it's like, no, I see what's underneath. So that's the only thing. It was like, long term, I don't know if I'm going to be into these books. But for this specific issue, I was like, oh, you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I thought it was actually pretty good. It met my expectations of what I thought it was. Like, I give it a 6. I don't know. When I think of Legacy, I think of like getting back to the core legacy of the characters. But this, it just felt like Marvel 0.01 jumping on point for all the Marvel books, where it was just a little bit of a preview of each book. Not like one thing that added to a whole. It was like a bunch of different pieces that are just all over the place. See, but that's the thing. I thought they were all driving towards the same point. Like, Loki wants to bring this Celestial back. The Logan and Gamora are trying to find the stones, which is also cosmic. And we have this thing about early Marvel, and like they've know about the Celestial. So like, there's all these things, and I feel like you said, they're all different parts of the story, but they're all like going towards the same point. Now, the only thing is like DC Universe. We saw at the end was Dr. Manhattan, and we're like, oh, sweet, like this is where this is all going. Mm-hmm. It's leading to a 2-year story. This, I saw this and I was like, I know it's leading to the Celestial thing, but it didn't grab me as much as that did. Yeah. So this was like, oh, cool. At least they're going to try to do a long-term story. But I thought, in Marvel though, like what's long-term though? Like, DC came out and was like, this is a 2-year story. And they're like, they weren't hiding anything. Well, I feel like a lot of this is like hiding stuff from the audience, being like, hey guys, it's a legacy, but when we're like, what does that mean? And they're not saying anything. No. So that's the only thing that scares me. That's like, doesn't make me invest. Like, when in the back here they have a checklist, there's 55 books on there, and I look at it being like, yeah, but how many of them are really gonna like change? Because obviously the creative teams didn't really change. Mm-hmm. So you're not telling me that you're willing to like say, hey, let's mix this up, like DC Universe, DC Rebirth did. Nothing on here shows me that you're willing to change. You're just telling me. Like, where's the actual change? This issue, but I mean, it could just be Jason Aaron. You know what I mean?
I feel like this should have been maybe like added more. It should have been like a second or third issue of this. I don't think that was enough for just one shot.
The one shot, I think, was a bad idea.
Yeah, they should have done like a mini
2 or 3 issues.
Yeah, like that would have to flesh out some things.
Yeah.
I'm giving this a 5. I really did not enjoy it.
I feel like it's just a one shot because DC did it, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do one shot.
We're gonna do a cool one shot."
I give it an 8. I like it.
Twice the price.
This actually made me want to drop all my Marvel books. There's just nothing in this that enticed me. Wolverine coming back, that could have given 2 shits.
That's the only thing. It was like, oh, well, I like this. And I looked at the back and was like, but like, I was looking at the back and I was like, but do I trust any of this? I don't know. Captain America's the only thing on here that I was like, oh yeah, I'll get that.
And then
and everything else that I was already getting.
On the back of the lenticular one, it's like promoting that Avengers, whatever the fuck. And it's like, oh, we're not going to do, as soon as Secret Empire's done, we're not going to do events.
See, that's the thing. Like I said,
January of 2018. That's like
they put this out
5 months away.
We're going to go back to basics. There's going to be no more events for a long time. And then they announce the day before this comes out, hey guys, we have a weekly event coming up in Avengers that's leading off of this. And it's like, okay.
There's still going to be crossovers going on until then.
So that's what I mean. Like, they tell me, hey, we're going to change. And then they're showing me, hey, by the way, you know how you don't like events? Weekly.
Right.
And they're promoting all these books, being like, every issue is an event. It's how they're promoting it. It's like, so that's the thing. It's like, I can't, I would have to wait and hear from people be like, oh, these series are great, for me to be like, okay, I'll get into it. rather than me for like DC Rebirth. I was like, okay, I'm going to get this, this, and this. And when I got them, because I proved me in that issue that they were like, okay, we're going to change, and they were like new teams. And each of them were like, here's our pitch, here's how we're going to go back to basics. Whereas this is like, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not looking because I'm not interested. I don't know. That was an 8 though. Like this issue by itself. Okay. Good to okay. For me to come in thinking like it was going to be a 0, maybe that's it too.
Yeah,
you know
I had
what I mean?
low expectations.
There was a piece of art in here. Let me ask you guys. It wasn't the Deadpool one. There was... Where is it at here? Oh, yeah, here we go. This part with Black Panther here. This looks like Akuna. This is Akuna art. What series is this going to be? Do you know?
Space Black Panther.
Space Panther.
Maybe it says in the back.
Space Pants.
Alex, what else are we getting?
Good question.
I think he's actually doing Black Panther.
Something I actually enjoyed much more than Marvel Legacy. Black Magick number 8, written by Greg Rucka and art by Nicola Scott. Right in my face. You know, this is one of those issues that was kind of just a setting up stuff. Except for that last little bit was great.
There were a lot of character moments in this one. Her partner, Rowan. Is that how you say her name?
Yeah.
Rowan Black. Finally came out and was like, why don't you tell me the truth about you and Alex? No, not you. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he thought that her and Alex were in a relationship.
Yep.
And she laughs at him being like, no, dude, I'm not going out with her. What are you talking about? And he's like, oh, okay. And so like, and then she keeps making fun of him. And I thought that was great because, something's wrong with her. Like she's keeping a secret. She's a witch. He doesn't know. She just thinks they're detectives. But he thought the lie was different. And so she calls him out and be like, you're crazy. Like, why are you doing that? And he goes, but I still feel like you're not telling me the whole truth. And she goes, well, if you don't believe, either be my partner or don't be my partner.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great because I think it's going to set up, like when he actually does find out the truth, it sets up being like, okay, she had a chance to tell him. Who knows? I mean, he would probably not believe her anyways, if at this point. But she lied. He's going to find out probably. And then, like, what does that mean? What does it mean for the relationship? What does that mean for their partnership? So there's just a little, character stuff in this issue. The end, like you said, there was a plot development with the creepy
little girl
again.
With the weird, it looked like
I didn't get what happened. Voodoo doll, right?
It looked like a voodoo doll.
So did the little girl make Rowan shoot that guy?
That's kind of.
I'm assuming.
See, I'm either confused that the little girl made the doll, and when Rowan shoots him, the 2 holes appeared, or like
did she do it? Okay,
she made the 2 holes appear. Maybe she didn't actually shoot him,
or was she controlling the guy like that made him go crazy and run away and shoot those people?
That's what I was thinking because he's freaking out the whole time. Yeah. That he knows. I think the guy knows something else that's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we have the time with the witch hunter. I think it's a witch hunter at least.
I'm pretty sure, like 98.
And then when they brought in either his boss or his partner, there was some.
Oh, they're scoping out her house.
Yep.
Being like,
which that cat
we're gonna
was
break
watching.
in and see if there's some witch stuff going on in there.
Yep.
To confirm.
Which if they just looked up into that window, going, "There's a cat that's consistently watching."
Well, didn't they see that?
I didn't think they saw.
I thought they did, and they go, "Well, we can't be for sure. Like we have to break in there and see." I thought they saw the cat.
I didn't know if they saw the cat.
There was a big emphasis on the cat, so I figured that's
I
why.
assumed the cat was watching over, and is going to eventually talk to Rowan.
Do you think that the cat can talk?
Of course.
Yeah, probably.
Binks from Hocus Pocus.
Or Salem.
I thought it was Jinx.
No, it's
That's
Binks.
Binks.
Oh, Zachary Binks.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
B-I-N-X.
Zachary Binks.
Or Salem from Sabrina.
Yep, of course. Talking cat.
Fuck Salem. Binks
Hey,
is way better.
Sabrina.
She's getting her own show.
You know a show?
But I found the only thing that kind of bugged me is there's things that were dialogue that just, I don't know, it was almost like it was said the wrong way. That bugged me.
What do you mean, between those two? Or
Yeah,
overall?
between the witch hunters. And I don't know if it's supposed to be with their I think Germanic.
I was,
And
yeah.
that they don't know how to say the words
In
correctly.
English, yeah.
So
I was confused on why they're like, let's break in. And they're like, you said she works days, right? And they go, yeah. Okay, well, wait till night. And I was like, why aren't you breaking in now when you know she's at work?
they talked about there being securities that she puts over during the day when she's not home.
So they're going to break in when she's actually there?
And then she could kill him.
Yeah, so I don't understand their logic, but
Yeah. Well, they might be stupid witch hunters.
maybe they got tools.
Maybe they're Sam and Dean.
That'd be fucking sweet.
German
Surprise.
version. It was still good though. Like that's the thing with these kind of books. This book specifically, or I'm even thinking of like Lazarus and stuff like that. When you have an okay issue for this series, it's like a good book for other issues. So like this was like an A for me.
I was gonna give it a 9. Just with that, I love the art in this book.
Yeah, but you're right though. Like the meat of this was the character development. There's not really that much plot, which I can deal with.
Yeah.
But it does make it feel like when there's a lot of just like back and forth, like between Rowan and her partner. It does make it feel like nothing's really going on, but there's subtle stuff going on.
Maybe that's the thing is that I'm missing other stuff.
It's going to probably pay off in 9 and 10.
That's what I mean. Yeah, when he finds out, like this is setting up something for later on, like you said.
Well, and 9 comes out in November. We're not even getting one in October.
It's changing to bi-monthly until they catch up. November, January, and then April, I think.
Yeah, I can live with that.
And then he said then there's going to be a break. And then after the break comes back, they'll be back to monthly.
I can live with that.
They fell behind, he said.
Couldn't they do the 7 to Eternity one? I'll bring Brett Booth on the book.
You know what the thing is? I'm guessing Rucka's more
conscious.
More sold on. You guys signed up for Nicola Scott and I to do this book. You don't want no.
Well, he basically like put the book on hold for a whole year so she could
catch up on it and focus on
Wonder Woman and then come back.
Yeah.
So makes me think never going to be anybody else in that book, which is fine. She's good.
That's how it should
Honestly,
be.
I don't think I'd want anybody else on this book. I've gotten the taste of.
Oh, by the way, something we had not really debate about because I was just confused about it. The sepia black and white. I noticed there is sepia and black and white. Sepia is for modern times when they do flashbacks. They do black and white.
Holy fuck!
It's like a subtle change, but you don't really notice until like you stop for a second and be like, oh wait, this is black and white now all of a sudden. And they're in the past. I noticed that with that one issue where it was all in the past.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it is black and white. Maybe I was wrong. And then the next issue was in sepia. And then they had like 1 or 2 flashbacks. And I was like, oh, that's what they're doing. Okay. It's good.
So you can tell the times.
It's a nice subtle change. Yeah, so you can just tell that it's a flashback. Which what book was it? I was like, do something. Tell me. That was like all over the place with time jumps. This one, at least,
I can't remember.
It's enough for me to know that's a flashback. I probably could tell from contextual clues, like she's younger and stuff like that. But at least at the very least, you're not trying to confuse me on something as dumb as being like, this is a flashback.
I remember there was a book that didn't tell you when it changed anything.
And you're just like, when's this taking place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just side note, one book that does a great job was 8. If it was in the present, it was orange. If it was in the past, it was green. If it's in the future, it's blue. And if it was...
What's 8? Oh, a Black Magic?
No. I can't remember who...
It was a book that he used to get.
It was a 5-issue run, but it was this time traveling. So it was purple, blue, green, and orange. Told you where you were and when you were. So that's a sweet idea.
Nice. Last book of the night, Infamous Iron Man number 12, written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Alex Maleev. This might be another one that we have disagreements on.
Holy shit, I hate this book.
I actually really enjoyed it.
Oh my god. 11 and 12 sucked ass.
Just hear me out on this. I know when you guys see a wall of text, you instantly just go, oh, fuck. But I actually read it all. I'm sure you guys did too.
I read it all, but...
I just took it for what it was. I wasn't just like, fuck, this is so annoying. I have to read this whole page.
Here's the thing about the wall of text. I don't like this issue either. That wall of text basically was like, okay, here's what's going on in this book. Here's how I tricked them all. Like, in not even trying to hide it. Talking directly to the reader, like he's looking at us. It's very meta. Mephisto being like, "Here's what happened. Here's what I did. How I tricked him. Why I did it." And it's like, where's the subtlety in this? You're just telling me exactly. Like we had 12 issues to explain this all, and for you to suddenly switch to Mephisto, now you're like, I got to explain it all. How do I do it? Oh, hey, let's just tell him and tell the audience. It seems so lazy.
This just seems like
but for it to only be 12 issues, maybe he got like told, "Hey, you only have 12."
I feel like it feels like for some reason that he got told he couldn't actually do Reed Richards the Maker.
Oh, really?
That he got told being like, "No, you can't do that." He's like, "What am I going to do then?" I don't know, Mephisto. That's what it seemed like. Like it made no sense.
See, my thing is I'm putting it on Bendis choosing to do this. Maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't his choice. These last 2 issues just seem like a total sellout.
What about
moment.
from after Mephisto till the end?
When they're beating the shit out of him? That was fine.
Actually,
no, I meant when Mephisto leaves.
Fine.
Yeah, when he leaves the story, basically.
That's the thing. They beat him like in what? 4 pages,
right?
It's like, oh, this guy who you're saying he's like
the first 4
he's explaining how well I've been a mastermind this whole time. Look, here's what I've done. And then while he's explaining it to you, he gets beat up and be like, I guess I'm dead.
Well, no, but he said in there, he's like, I knew going into this that I was going to get fucking thrown in wherever he's being sent, but it was worth it just to cause Victor Von Doom pain for what he did to me.
You know, this is the biggest thing that pissed me off about this book, other than the giant wall of text that I could have given two shits about Mephisto, was there's a moment where Mephisto bleeps out that he's saying ass, and then later in that, like two panels later, he actually says the word ass. Pissed me off. Like,
maybe it wasn't ass. Maybe it was penis.
No, it was ass. Is the only thing that would make sense. I want to be a pain in Victor Von Doom's bleep.
Asshole.
But it wasn't. Anyway, it just bugged the shit. That was like the biggest pet peeve.
But think about the rest of the issue now, okay? Besides the first 5 pages that you obviously hate, like everything in the series did pay off. You know, him and Ben, they didn't really figure anything out, but they had a resolution.
Yes, Victor sent him to Amsterdam.
Yeah, and gave him a fucking place. And then with
It's just
Shield,
like how you're like, hey, everything paid off. Him and Ben didn't really figure anything out. Yeah, nothing happened.
well, he said
They're the same places. they
Yeah,
were in
think
the
of their
first issue.
history though.
Yeah, but like,
I think you're being too harsh. I think you guys
But Grimm, I mean,
read that first 5
he
pages
never-
and you're like, the rest of this is irrelevant.
See, the thing is that at some point he should have realized, being like, "Whoa, Reed is the." So that's why he should have been the fucking maker. Hey, Reed's the bad guy, so he can see that people can be good and turn bad. Maybe people could be bad and turn good. He can see Doom. Oh, he is doing good, but he never sees that. He's just like, Doom, I'm gonna get you, and he's like, oh, goodbye. I'm gonna send you somewhere else. Have a vacation on me. So he still hates him.
right.
Like there's no change. He's the same thing from the first issue to this one. He still hates him. That's why I don't think it was supposed to be Mephisto. It doesn't make sense.
It is kind
There's
of
no
like
payoff.
11th hour weird.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was
But-
like, what, the beginning of last issue? Or was it last?
It was literally the cliffhanger. It's Mephisto, and then 5 pages later, adios.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, I just, I feel like that if it was the maker, all this stuff falls into place better.
Yeah.
And you get a story that has some sort of point. Like when you
What
write
has a
something,
meaning then?
be like, what's the point of this story? And so Bennett made a story basically be like, I'm going to talk about how Mephisto wants to screw over Doom. But for what reason? Like, you can have a 12-issue mini about that. Or you can have a story being like, I'm going to have Doom try to redeem himself in the eyes of others, and then the others have to try to come to grips with, like, maybe Doom is good. Like, that's a better story.
But that was the whole end of this issue, though, which I thought was really strong, is when he's like,
The only person that believed him at the end was Doctor Strange. Let him do his thing, he said. And if you believe me,
what's her face? Sharon Carter believed in him. He got that whole island of...
only because he's like, I'm going to do this anyways.
Do you think he'll actually do it?
Yeah,
You should have to see if he does or not.
And he does it. You see it.
Yes, but I mean, like, nobody else believes him ever. And that's how it was at
Hey, that's
issue
being
1.
a hero. Some people might not believe in you.
And now he's going to find Tony Stark. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Well, because legacy. That's
in all
why.
honesty, I gave this issue a 4.
I give it a 9. I thought it was really
I was so disappointed.
Art is really good.
Art was amazing.
Colors are pretty amazing too. Matthew
Yeah.
Wilson, I think.
And then there's the drop. So is the doctor at the end?
Hollingsworth,
This
Matt
part I don't remember. Is that the doctor that Tony had a thing with?
I don't remember who that
Dr.
was.
Amara?
No, it's the one that he likes.
That Victor likes?
Victor likes.
So Victor got her pregnant.
I think so.
Ooh, Victor Von Doom Jr.
Baby Doom.
Baby Doom.
Doom, baby.
Doomy.
Ooh, I like Doom Baby.
Doom baby.
I mean, I have to stick with the 4. Yes, the art was great. I cannot get over how I feel like something had happened. Editing wise.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 5. You know what this feels like? It feels like Ben has turned into term paper and he's asked to, like, give a reasoning and explain the reasoning. He gave the reasoning and then at the end he's like, because it said so. It's like,
Maybe it's because I've read Infinity Gauntlet lately. That's why, like, I was okay with Mephisto being in that book, but I can see where you would be. Well, I know why you're pissed because you're in love with the maker. And besides that point that you thought he'd be perfect. And then Alex, you text on a page is like, oof. When you see a
I'm
wall
actually
of text,
quite smart.
I'm not saying you're not smart, but when you see a page of prose, you're like, I'm not fucking.
No, it's not.
reading
But
that.
it's not that. It's this character chose to do a breaking the fourth wall.
Can you imagine any Marvel movie ending with the bad guy who looks at the screen and goes, okay, here's what's going on.
This is what
Here's
I
what's
did.
been going on the whole
Loki
time.
looks at the movie in Avengers. He looks at the screen and then he gets this fucking beat up.
But it's a look. It's not 4 pages and be like, here's what's going on, guys.
They wouldn't actually do that.
I'm working for Thanos actually.
Hey, this is comics.
Chitauri.
Not everything carries over into the visual art.
But to me,
But I'm
Mephisto
saying
isn't
use
one of
the
those characters
medium.
to break the wall. Like if Deadpool does it, yes, that's understandable. Harley Quinn does it, I get that. That's been their character. Has Mephisto ever broken the fourth wall before?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not what I'm mad about, that he's breaking the fourth wall, is that he uses that to just explain his motive, explain why he's doing this, and then while that's happening, he gets beat up and we don't see him again.
Just be fair. This is in the same universe we got Ghost Cap, so it's okay.
That's true, but also, like...
I held this book to way higher standards than this.
I did, because, like, how can you have, like, 11, basically?
No, I'm going to say 10, because 11 kind of was the shit.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
AutoZone.
Well, at the end was. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot about AutoZone. 10 issues of something that's really great and us saying, wow, this is out of continuity. Not out of continuity, but this is something that's on its own. Like, doesn't have to play by those kind of rules. And really doing something that is reverent and, like, making this character, like I could see after this series them being like, wow, Doom could be an Avenger. Like, I could see, like, Ben being like, I vouch for him. He can be an Avenger. And then, but now I'm like, no, they're in the same place.
I still want Ben to go over and pile drive him into the concrete.
Then Marvel Marketing got in there. He's like, you want the rest of the story?
Oh,
here's this.
See, Doom. That's what it felt like, too. That's what I was going to say when I read this. It felt like this wasn't the final issue. It was like, by the way, read Invincible Iron Man if you want more Doom.
Are they going to put that at the end?
It was the same thing with Kingpin. It was like, hey, read Daredevil. Daredevil. What book was it? Read whatever book it was. It was like, if you want to see more Kingpin. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I felt like this was going to be like a complete, like, not even like that this would be stand on its own, like, wouldn't affect any other book, but tell me a complete story. Don't just like be like, by the way.
Now in the search for Invincible Iron Man, it's going to be Bendis with Caselli and Malieve. So it's still going to tell part of the story that would resolve this.
I was expecting this Infamous Iron Man to be a more kind of bigger name to be Vision, if you get what I'm saying. So when Tom King wrote Vision, holy shit, that 12 issues was amazing. I expected this to be a counter to that with using a bigger name.
Right.
You're right. I mean, like at the end of Vision, I was like, okay, that's a complete story. Like I understood Tom King, what he set out to do. And this one, I was like, no, okay. I guess.
Come on, guys. Let's
move on.
I know, but see now 2 books from me this week is just like, wow, Marvel, you make me want to not get your stuff.
See, that's strange because like I said, Legacy was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. In this one, I was like, oh, old Marvel again. Like,
and see, I'm the best of both worlds. I liked Infamous Iron Man. Marvel Legacy was,
Those are the books that we have this week. Marvel Legacy #1. Is it #1? Just Legacy. Yeah, probably is
number 1.
Probably number 1.
Miss Iron Man #12. Black Monday Murders #7. Kamandi Challenge #9. Action Comics 988.
Black Magick 8.
Black Magic #8. Was that it?
I think so.
Those are the new books this week. Check them out if you want to. Let us know what you checked out this week. There's a lot of books coming out this week. Like you said.
A lot. There's a lot that we missed. That,
or was it before the show?
No, it was before the show.
That we really could have done more reviews this week. Hey, maybe we should have. But it's more of the time constraint because we do this on Thursday night if anybody doesn't know.
And I was just moving. Like,
nobody cares about that.
For like ever, and I would not be able to read those books in time.
Why do you need to move? Just read your books like any other normal person.
An hour before the show when I'm working?
No, I mean, just have Corey move all your stuff.
Yeah. It works out. He could do it.
But yeah, there's a lot of books that came out this week that we could have talked about, and I've been hearing good things about them. That Death Machine.
Did you hear about the Wonder Woman? If it's good or not?
No, I haven't. I looked at
your face.
I have a gripe with the Wonder Woman issue. Why the fuck would you put Brian Hitch on the cover of that book? That cover makes me want to like peek.
Manish.
But inside art actually looks
pretty good.
Fucking great. Cover art, meh. Fuck. Inside
Lazarus,
art, nice.
X66. What else came out this week? Pretty good. I mean, when I got it,
Detective Comics, Tim Drake's
Southern Bastards, Detective.
Yeah.
A lot of good books. So go out to your comic book shop, get them. Let us know what you picked up. WednesdayComics605@gmail.com or WednesdayComics.com. Here you go. Twitter @WednesdayComics or on Facebook, Facebook.com/WednesdayComics podcast. We're going to move on to our segment of the week. Is that what we call it? No, feature. Top 5 out of continuity stories. So things outside of normal continuity, 616, and whatever DC's calling it now. Is it Earth Zero?
DC Prime.
DC Prime? No, that's Marvel Prime, baby. Amazon Prime. Do you got it?
I do. Well, DC still calls their stuff Elseworld as long as it's not continuity. Like I know.
No, what's the main continuity called? 0?
No, they call it Prime
1
as well.
2,
Rebirth.
3.
It's Earth Zero.
Earth 0. Oh, yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So anything outside of those main continuities we're talking about today, we're talking about our top 5 stories in outside of those continuities. Garrett, since you have it pulled up there, I got to pull up mine. So when you go first?
Starting at 5?
No, start at 1. No, start at 5.
Oh, sorry, fucking feature master. I'm just clarifying.
Who starts at top 5? My number 1
Hey,
issue.
sometimes we've done top 5s where it doesn't matter the order.
Never, ever.
I'm pretty sure we have. Have we done one where there's been 5 that are like the best of?
To be fair, I have. Yes, we've done best ofs.
We've done, hey, what are some books that are good for new readers? And we just say them. But we've never
top
done a
5.
Top
But when
5,
it does
we
a
always
top
count them.
5, he claims that
It's
it's
a
our
countdown.
top 5.
Whatever. Just clarifying so I don't fuck up, okay? My number 5 is Dark Knight Returns, written by Frank Miller with art by who the fucking wrote this? I can't remember. Frank Miller.
Frank Miller.
That was a joke. All right.
I don't think so.
It was a joke. Yeah, I mean, I've said why I like this book before. It's not only is it such a crucial Batman story to change the rest of the Batman universe, because though it was out of continuity, it showed future Batman writers how to actually write a good Batman story. Not to say that Frank Miller's sequels were any good. 2, you might as well just like throw paint on a wall and say, hey, that's a fucking good book. And then the third one was better, but still it ended up being just like 2 by the end. But the first one, there's something about it that is just, it's like a renaissance of Batman. Because if, the history of it is before Dark Knight Returns was coming out, comics were dying off. Batman comic sales were low. Like now, what are they in the top? It's the number 1 selling book, Marvin, or is it one of the top
Depends.
5?
Depends per week.
Yeah.
Per month. Top 5 usually.
It was probably like where Spider-Man is for Marvel, which is like number 19 or whatever. It was not selling as much as it was. And after Dark Knight Returns came out, they started changing how they structure the rest of Batman issues. But anyways, Dark Knight Returns, great story, great art. There's an animated movie based off of it. 3-hour movie that tried to do it, didn't really accomplish it. But yeah, one of my favorite books. I could read it over and over and over again.
When will we try to accomplish it?
Batman vs Superman.
No, a little bit.
That's why I said tried.
They took like one scene and we're like, we're going to put the scene in the movie.
Right. Tried to accomplish it. Yep, Dark Knight Returns.
Alex, what's your number 5?
Yeah, this may come as a surprise. Batman Shadow.
Batman Shadow.
Batman slash the Shadow?
Yep.
Did you read 6?
No.
No? So you haven't read the whole thing?
I've read 1 through 5.
But not the conclusion.
Well, you're going to hate some of my other stuff, too, on this list.
What the hell? What if 6 the worst fucking piece of shit you've ever read?
Then I guess I'll have to change it.
This is like a Marvin doing a top 5. What the fuck is
Who do you think I
this?
took notes from? I make them drop these books.
But also, what makes me laugh is on the forecast. It's been okay. But
Hey, that's why I said this may come as a surprise. But it's solely on the fact that Riley Rosmo kicks fucking ass on this book. You know what? He may actually draw some of my favorite looking rogues because they just look so good.
Can I say that the best scene in this Batman the Shadow is that 2-page spread where Batman's hanging above every single rogue of
Just fighting
his?
everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
That is a good page. I tell you what, I became a Rosmo fan from Rasputin. It's the only reason I got this book.
Good book.
It's so good.
Alex never let me finish it, but
No. I asked you, you should finish that.
how many issues was that, baby?
10.
10 issues. 5 came out. Alex, you should read this pretty good. He let me borrow them. And then he told me there was a second part that came out.
No, kept it a secret.
He kept the last 5 a secret.
Had to read it myself first.
Interesting. It is a great book, though. I am excited to read the conclusion once I get the last issue.
Batman the Shadow. That's you can base
Is that Tinian and Snyder?
No,
Or is it just Snyder?
Scott and
Scott and Rosmo.
it's Scott and somebody else too.
Oh, I think it is James Tynion the fourth.
Okay.
Maybe. Look it up.
As I can't be
John, I mean, not James. John Tynion the fourth.
No, it's James.
James Tynion?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Am I losing it? It must be.
Yeah.
Maybe it's from the fact that you told me that you didn't finish the actual fucking mini before you put it on this list.
It's funny.
But I read 1 through 5 though.
I know, and he would bust your balls for that.
I don't mean to shit on this some more, but also not getting the sequel to a top 5 book on his list. But okay. You said you weren't going to get the Shadow. Oh, you said you like it because of the Rosmo art, so that drops that off for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't look at me like that.
Go fuck yourself.
You make me scared for my soul. Number 5 on my list. It's come to a shock to somebody. Maybe not. Batman Earth 1, Volume 2 specifically. I actually thought Volume 1 was okay.
Sorry, what was it? I was looking at
Batman Earth 1.
Okay.
Volume 2. Volume 2 is like really like that's like that book came out. Here's my history with this book. That book came out. And also I wanted to say before we start here, this is my All-Star Superman dedication list because I don't want to put on this list again, like another list where it's number 1, so it's not on my list. So overall, just realize All-Star would have been number 1. In my heart, it is. In my soul.
Sorry, Steve Orlando and Scott Snyder.
Steve Orlando, that's what it was.
We apologize.
John Orlando? Batman Earth 1, Volume 2 is a really great Riddler story. Like, I was surprised. I really like the grounded kind of take on Riddler. And, overall as a story, I thought, because we had, where I was wondering, I was like, what are some really good Riddler stories? And then I think you told me, he's like, well, he's in Volume 2 of Earth 1. I was like, oh, okay. So,
Didn't I give you that for Christmas?
No, you gave me, no?
I thought I gave one of you 2 Batman Earth 1 Volume 2. I know I did.
I think you gave it to me because I have it.
Okay.
Did you give me New Frontier?
No.
He does me.
Fuck. I don't know.
He didn't get you anything that year.
It is great. I mean, Batman Earth 1 is a great graphic novel, but I've read Earth.
You gave me 52.
Earth 1 Volume 2. Yeah, I did give you 50 this year.
Yeah.
I don't remember in the past.
Yeah, it's really good. Not because I read in Hoopla, so I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so I hadn't 2 years it was out, but I didn't because one was okay, and I was like, I don't want to read the second one.
I remember telling you guys after I read it, I was like, guys, you need to read this fucking book, and neither of you had it. And I was like, oh, it's
a really
good.
cinematic take on Batman that usually I don't like how they ground these characters, but I thought it was told in a nice way. The art's really great. Gary Frank's doing something else. All Doomsday Clock.
Yeah,
I really like Gary Frank. He doesn't really do that much work nowadays. He does special things like this and Earth 1 for Jeff Johns, both of them.
He did the first 20 variant covers on Superman.
Yeah. So I had something out there that if you are looking to get into Batman, those Earth 1 books are pretty good. And that second one I thought actually was pretty great.
I remember reading the first one with Birthday Boy. I don't remember reading 2.
Birthday Boy?
I think that's what they call him, Birthday Boy.
Oh.
The guy at the end that...
With the mask on.
I forgot about 1. I was just...
But I liked 1 a lot. I've read 2 and I wasn't as impressed. But really? I think I need to reacquaint myself with 2 again.
I like the way his suit looked. I loved his suit in 2 and his gadgets.
Yeah.
It was really great. The art, it might have been mostly art, but...
Gary Frank's...
Liked it. Garrett, 4?
My 4 is Superman Red Sun.
Ooh, hold on a second.
Is it one on your list?
I've never.
My number 4 is Superman Red Sun.
Really?
Yeah.
This book, I read it on Hoopla this year, and I was blown away. I thought that it was going to be a fun Elseworld tale, what if Superman got found by Soviet Russia, whatever. And then you read it, and it not only reinforces why you love Superman so much, but also you got a really cool Batman involved in the piece as well. I believe it was not Gotham by Gaslight, but it's more he's still a Batman type character, but he's dressed like a Russian Batman.
So isn't he Soviet Batman?
Yeah, Soviet Batman. And he's fucking awesome. It's there's this whole regime and Batman is the fucking thorn in Superman's side. He's creating all this anarchy and everything, but it also, full circle makes Superman question himself throughout the entire book, because it's Superman still is who you think he is, but he still has the potential to be ruthless and everything. But by the end, I didn't tear up, but I was at the end, I was just so emotionally gut punched. I was like, holy fuck, what a tale.
For a long time, also, I didn't read Red Sun just because the same thing. I was like, I know how this works out. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't need to read this story about a communist Superman. I know how it's going to shake out. And then when I kept seeing it on people being like, this is one of the greatest Superman stories. I was like, how? But how? The Superman I want to see, I figured it was going to be all action based. You know what I mean? Especially it's Mark Millar. So I figured it's all going to be a crazy action story. And I read it and you're right. It's more of a story examining that it's not really how you're raised, nature versus nurture. It's really who you are inside. And Superman knows that all that stuff was wrong. And he eventually at the end is like, no, I can't do this. I can't be that kind of person. And he does change his ways. And you're right. It's kind of like, wow, like even though he landed in Russia, like it's not that where he landed that teaches him his morals and stuff like that. It's just like who he is inside and who like is bringing him up. It was really great. Dave Johnson's art is amazing. That book too. God. The coloring's
so good.
That was actually one of my biggest takeaways. I was like, wow, this art's really great. Like I don't know why for some reason I figured it was gonna be like, it's gonna probably be okay. Mark Millar, like one of his only DC work, right?
I'm sure he's done other things, but not a whole lot.
I've really seen a lot of stuff by him. Also, let me mention before we get back more to this list, I was doing research on Elseworlds story just to get and like out of continuity stories to be like, okay, what's something that we would consider out of continuity to put on my list that I've read. And I realized there's a lot of stuff I'm like, wow, I didn't like. There's like a good chunk of me like, wow, I've never even heard of that story before,
right?
Or even like one that we're planning on reading, possibly coming up. And I was like, I saw it on a lot of lists, being like, this is the best out of continuity story, Elseworlds story. And I was like, wow, I really got to read. You know, the thing is with a lot of those, and I think we've talked about on the show before about these stories are great for new readers or for somebody looking for something different from these Marvel and DC. But also, like, if you're in the weekly game, these kind of also seem like might be a waste of my time. Like, it's not part of the main continuity. You can get into that mindset also. But when you read them, it really reminds you being like, it's nice to see an artist and a writer take something, like take characters and be like, okay, if I have no restraints to the continuity, what kind of story can I tell? And I think that's what's great about these stories.
Exactly.
So, I think get more into this kind of stories, but
yeah, amazing.
You four.
Now, this was one of my first DC books that I read as a whole complete set. Identity Crisis.
Identity Crisis is in continuity, but
you said it wasn't.
What do you mean? Did you ask me?
You put it on our list today.
Let me see.
No, I didn't. A different book that I'm going to talk about later.
Same.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it.
I don't want to either. We'll talk about it later. Identity Crisis isn't.
Well, then you got to come back to me then.
Okay.
Oh, I have one. Wonder Woman Conan.
Yeah.
First issue in. What?
Nothing.
Hey, I'm pretty sure you put Identity Crisis on this list tonight. So
no.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right now.
Check.
No, actually, technically,
we'll explain it to you when we get there. But anyways, yeah, you said Wonder Woman Conan was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
Why? What?
I mean, what's good about it?
Well, it's hard to tell you what's good about it. Only one issue in. You know what the nice thing is that Conan meets. You don't know it's actually her. In the end of the first issue, he meets this girl to begin with as a young lady, young little lass, his age. I think he's 8, and they go to this village. They're trying to make some trades. Grows up, and of course, Conan's just kicking ass, taking names. Saves this guy, he doesn't get arrested. He goes to another town from saving this guy. He has to go fight. No, they're going to watch a fight. I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I read this.
Yes, sir.
A week?
No, it's been about a week because I wanted to make sure I read this by
right.
Gail Simone. Holy shit, it's so good. So he goes to watch this fight. Well, we don't know it, but Wonder Woman is going up against these other barbarians. And she's just beating the shit out of everybody. So the king goes, kill her. Throw her back into the prison. We'll have Conan fight her. Well, they meet in the prison. They're talking. And he goes, holy shit, you're that girlfriend that I liked way back when. And she's like, oh, Conan. It was good. It was less fun. I thought it was funny, but it was good. And the art was so good.
Was the action like smooth?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I actually believe she had her
gauntlets.
Yep, she had her wrist gauntlets. Oh, it's not Wonder Woman. It's not Diana necessarily. At least I don't get that it's Diana.
Is it more like
But it's just
like if you think Wonder Woman, this is what you get.
Kind of.
Okay.
So,
it's not like actually her on the.
It was barbarian Wonder Woman.
Right.
Me and Alex were talking about before the show started. Like Gail Simone, why isn't DC jumping all over them and be like, "Hey, you want to write a book?" Yeah. Like she's writing this out of continuity Wonder Woman.
Well, she was writing Secret Six though,
and she wrote Batgirl for the longest time.
And she's writing.
But I mean, for Rebirth, like they didn't ask her to come back.
Well, maybe she was just kind of like, eh.
I guess she is writing Clean Room.
She's doing her own things.
What else? She's got no
Clean Room, Crosswind. She did that Leaving Megapolis.
She did. To be fair, and I just realized probably the reason why is she had that big blow up over Batgirl, where she got fired and then rehired from DC. They're like, "Fuck you," and the people were like, "Hey, well, you can fire Gail Simone," and they're like, "Oh, you come back, eh?
Be our friend."
My number 3, we'll go back. Since I already did 4, we'll start with me 3. Ultimate Spider-Man. Specifically, I wanted to say, I know somebody might say all of it, but all of it's good. But I actually think with part of it that I believe is the greatest part of it. Guest host 1 that's why he needs to be here. He can tell me exactly when this is. But there's a specific arc, an issue, where he tells Mary Jane that he's Spider-Man. And I'm a guy who, was okay with Peter Parker, likes Spider-Man, but it's not really my favorite. In that part of that comic, intro happens right at the beginning, right? What, first, second arc?
Yeah.
Really sets up for you to love this character that you can see how much he cares for Mary Jane and doesn't want to lie to her, that he tells her, hey, I'm Spider-Man, though, by the way, and they have a whole issue of them talking it out. And it was like realistic. They're having a real relationship talk about something crazy, that he's a Spider-Man guy. And it really is like what made me realize when I was reading that series, being like, this is really going to be like a grounded take on Spider-Man. It's not going to be something that like is crazy. And also it's not going to be something that where you constantly have like the battle being like, oh, I can't tell him I'm Spider-Man. What if my enemies find out? Like Bendis thought for a second, was like, let's take that out of here for a second. Like, let's go another way with this. We can in Ultimate. What happens if he does tell Mary Jane? Like, what if he's truthful to her? Like, what's that dynamic like? And I liked that I was reading that. I was like, okay, this is going to be a different kind of Spider-Man story. And I think one of Bendis' best issues that he's ever written in his life. Love it. Ultimate Spider-Man.
Well, I can't skip ahead, but I mean, let's say I just want me to. I can come back.
Why is it not 3?
It's not 3.
Oh, okay. Well, just do your 3.
Okay, I'll get back to it. My number 3 is Injustice. And that's everything before Injustice 2. Because like Injustice 2 has been good, but it's not complete yet. And I just can't really give it my 2 cents.
Why are you looking at him when you say that?
I didn't say anything. I didn't. Now I'm fucking looking at him.
Fucking trust, bro.
So Injustice, more specifically, all the issues written by Tom Taylor, Brian Buccellato or however the hell you say his last name. He took over in year 4-ish, 5. But everything leading up to that, Tom Taylor kicked my ass with
literally
with how much DC continuity he fucking played with. And like this is leading up to basically it's a video game adaptation too. Who in their right mind would ever think that a video game adaptation would be fucking a million times better than the actual video game?
I remember seeing that it was coming out and being like, oh, that's something that's going to come out for like 3 months and be horrible.
Right. And so I was like, oh, it's probably just a mini, whatever. It lasted 5 fucking years. Way past that game's prime.
60 issues? Or was it more?
No, some years had more. Like year 5 had like 20 issues.
Oh, okay.
But what it did is like, the story opens up with Joker basically killing Lois Lane or making Superman kill Lois Lane. And Superman rips out the Joker's heart. And like... because he loses everything that he cares about. And it's a Superman story. I mean, it's an everybody story, but it's what if Superman lost his shit and went bad and never became good again? Like stayed bad.
You know what I think is cool about that book? I thought about putting it on mine too, but I only read the first volume. So, I like that Tom is not scared to be like, have a character in that book and make him different.
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of times in the Ultimate Universe kind of felt like this eventually. Not the Ultimate Spider-Man, but like other stuff. It felt like, okay, here's a different alternate timeline, and then the character just would be the same.
Yeah.
They're just retelling it, and maybe it would change the detail, but like they would still be the same person. And that feels like a lot of stuff is like, this is a different kind of character, like a different take on this character.
But in the same sense, it's your classic representation of them in your mind. Like, somewhat. I mean, some of the characters are different, yes. But I mean, when you think of Green Arrow, you think of Oliver Queen and he's married to Black Canary. Like, all the continuity where, like, in New 52, they were like, these guys aren't married, all that, blah, blah, blah. No, this was all
Yeah, I don't mean
place.
to completely change the character. I just mean, like, instead of, like, the Peter Parker thing I told you, instead of being like, oh, he has to keep a secret from Mary Jane, that's how it is.
Right.
They were like, oh, no, he can tell
We can do whatever the fuck we want.
So things like that would happen in that book, being like, yeah, let's just do it differently. See how it shakes out. See what happens.
I would parallel this book with Walking Dead, where the only rule is that these are DC characters. Like, they might start out as the people you love, but nobody's safe.
Do people say that in that book?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there is a case of 2 Earths at some point where you get some of the characters that have died come back, but it's not actually them. and they establish this is not that character. It's a character from an opposite Earth, basically. But fuck, there's some issues where Superman kills like your favorite heroes, where it's hard to fucking watch. Like my favorite guy, Superman, literally, I showed you guys that panel of him. I'm just gonna say spoilers. I don't fucking care. At some point, fine, I'm not gonna say the character. At some point, Superman is pissed at this person, a hero, and the end of the issue is him laser beaming through his head, and all you see is Superman through the back of his head with like 2 circles, meaning that he laser beamed him through the fucking head and killed him. I'm not gonna say who because it pays off.
You didn't show us that.
Yeah, I sent it to our messenger.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I sent the panel.
I remember you told us, but
yes.
Okay.
You fucking weirdo.
Well, I want to see if you actually got what I'm suggesting.
But yeah, I mean, and then that. Oh fuck, we'll talk about other show because that part gave me goosebumps.
What was that?
He wrote an initial on my arm.
Oh, okay.
Just so I wouldn't spoil it.
Alex, what's your number 3?
Wait, I gotta say final thoughts. Sorry, I know it's a lot. It's 5 years worth of fucking material.
I'm still on the fact that I just wrote on his arm.
But if you want to meet a huge chunk of the like Justice League roster or all the big players in DC history, what's nice about this series is it brings in people that like you wouldn't normally see, like especially in New 52 or Rebirth, like Booster Gold's around a lot. Some of your like your original Huntress is in there. There's a lot of characters that have like gone by the wayside that are actually on the forefront in this book. So
Huntress,
definitely recommend it. Yeah, like Helena Wayne, Huntress.
Hey, what's up with Dick Grayson? He was with that one girl in Nightwing. He got almost got her pregnant.
Once you go Barbara, you never go back.
Sean
Huntress.
I mean, you go
yeah,
back.
he was with Sean Huntress, and now he's with Barbara.
Well, I'm not. I guess I'm not currently reading the Batgirl. I'm not caught up on it, so I don't know if that's legitimate or if that's a past thing.
I saw. Oh, spoilers, but
Is that legitimate? No, dude, it's Dick Grayson.
I saw a panel where he's like, "We're in this together," and they like kiss.
Dude, he's just.
But that takes place in the past. This current Batgirl.
Oh, does it? Okay,
Yeah.
well, go on.
I don't think
I was
he's doing
wondering,
anything
like,
with
this
it right
man
now
is
because
just-
I thought you were still pissed at him.
There's no medium rare stakes in this book right now.
So my number 3, legitimately, I know this one is correct, and I read the whole fucking thing. Batman / TMNT by Tinian the Fourth.
That is good.
John.
So I
Who
think
did the art again?
it's the one who's doing the covers for Universe, but I don't get those ones. I always get
It was like the
sent
painted style.
Yeah,
Kevin Eastman.
no,
it's
not
not.
He
Eastman.
did his covers.
That art was great.
No, he did the covers. I got.
We know the one thing we hate about that series, though.
fucking
that
Batmobile.
fucking Batmobile
Yep.
looks like an Antmobile. It looks
And
awful.
I like when the turtles look a little different.
Yeah.
They all look so much the same other than their masks. But I tell you what, finally getting to see Ra's al Ghul and the Shredder team up together. I was going to say the foot and the hand, but that's not the right universe.
Hey, let me ask you a question about that series. Is there any other like that has to be a perfect example of the universe being like, what is Alex like? Batman, TMNT? All right, let's put them together.
Right.
That's like your 2 favorite things. The only thing that make that complete with they're like Batman, TMNT, Wolverine. All right, 3 of them. Let's get them together.
It was definitely way more successful than that Nickelodeon one, I thought.
I liked the Nickelodeon one, just for the fact it did bring in a lot of other villains. And I thought about putting it on this list in case my number 1 isn't a legitimate answer.
Might not be.
It might, and that might not be. So I should probably move my number 2 up to anyway.
His number 1, Civil War. I was kidding.
No, I know that one is legitimately part of the thing. You'll have to see. I'll have to show it to you guys. I'll tell you what it is.
But what's
What
nice
happened-
about the Batman TMNT crossover is like, you know, you think that it's going to be forced down your throat, whatever. Like
Yep.
Batman, like the cliffhanger is basically Batman meeting the Turtles for the first time. They're not actually hanging out until like the second issue, basically. And at first they fight.
Now, the one thing I was telling Marvin is I think that TMNT, the ongoing stuff, does make reference to traveling to Gotham.
Nice.
So then actually this wouldn't be able to count.
Does it?
I know they make reference to it, at least from the Nickelodeon
But the
standpoint,
portal they go through is an alternate Earth.
I suppose. So it is still Elseworld, even though it's...
We'll count it. You know what?
You need all
Question.
the help you can get anyways.
The only thing that would make me interested in that book, even though I like both things. I don't know why I'm not interested, but does Batman eat pizza?
Actually, I think he does eat pizza with the
does eat
turtles.
pizza.
Okay. supreme. He's got to go all in.
To be fair, it's probably whatever Mikey made. So it could be marshmallow marinara sauce.
Isn't Damien in that?
Yes.
Yes.
Because he fights the turtles.
And Bat Cow's in it.
Is Bat Cow in it?
I think there's one page where Bat Cow makes a cameo.
I have to admit, it was a fun book.
It was super fun. And the covers, they all looked fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That artist, fucking hands to you, dude.
My number 2, it is out continuity. I thought about it for a second. For some reason, I think it is part of continuity, but I'm like, no, there's no way it can be. Is Batman the Killing Joke?
That's continuity.
Yeah.
How?
It's
They
considered
reference all the time.
continuity. Yeah.
Then,
Barbara got shot in the spine.
Yeah, Gail Simone.
That's the only thing that came out of it, though. Like, at the end, Joker
continuity.
dies. He's still alive in the...
You don't know he's dead.
no, there's three
That's
of them.
all okay. Yeah, because you know at the fucking end of that book. Nobody knows the end of that fucking book.
What do you mean?
You assume he dies. You don't know he dies.
Alan Moore
You see-
said in an interview that's not a continuity story that DC decided to make continuity. Alan Moore said it's not, so I'm going to put it on my list.
Oh, yeah? Alan Moore says a lot of things. So, no.
Who do I believe? DC, the corporate, or Alan Moore, the creator?
The Anarchist?
By the way, the creator, but that's... Oh, you guys don't get that. You didn't get Miracle Man. So it doesn't count?
Wait, we got Miracle Man.
We get Miracle Man.
Did you?
The Tom King story?
No, not Mr. Miracle. Miracle Man.
Oh, no.
I'm still hearing the same thing. Okay.
But it's
Is
kind
that Marvel's?
I mean, that's
Okay.
that's how she becomes Oracle, because she has to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I know they took that from that, but then Joker dies at the end, so it's not...
You don't. Oh fuck! Alan Moore could basically say in Watchmen, like, "Oh, Rorschach, he just got buzzed over to another planet." You don't. See
He
it.
got sent
You
to
don't know.
Amsterdam.
Yeah, Amsterdam.
See, now my thing is I've always been tossed between the two. There, I could see it being Batman breaks his oath, kills Joker, but I could also see it where it's a crack of lightning that you're hearing.
Well, that's the thing, though. Is like what a lot of this stuff. When we had this conversation before we started today, it's like at some point they can make a continuity if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with this. It wasn't supposed to be, and it came out that it was. So I'm going to count it. If not, All-Star Superman. But you know what I really like about this book, and this book comes up a lot. I was going to put the Dark Knight Returns on here. You sure that's not in continuity? Damien, 666, Batman. Is that what I like about this book is that, like I said, it was a story that they're like, wow, this is really great. This is great completes. Well, how many issues do you actually have? The
It's just one.
ones?
It's just one.
Just one prestige.
Prestige format. I think it's 80 pages.
Yeah,
Only.
it's a
long.
good solid little
For it
book.
to come out and people be like, wow, this is amazing, and DC to be like, okay, this is continuity now, when it wasn't supposed to be, is for me a sign being like, this is so strong, and like they're like, oh, we want to pull from all these strings that you put in here. For somebody to come out and define Batman like that, like I mean, Alan Moore, and for it to be a commentary on like, what does it mean? Like Joker tries to tell Gordon like anybody can be me. Just one bad day can make you me. And then at the end, Batman. Well, you said it's not true, but at the end, yeah, Batman sitting there, like throughout their whole life, they've been back and forth, and at the end, maybe Batman goes like one bad day can make him crazy. Like, is he really sane, or is he actually on the edge too? Just like Joker. Like Joker's just him and had a bad day. And I think that is a really good commentary on Batman. And so I really like that story. And the art's really great.
The animated adaptation of that movie is great, except everything before when the graphic novel starts and the adaptation.
Oh, really?
starts.
So it's on HBO. I saw it. I saw it was on HBO.
I thought you went with us to go see it.
No, just you and I.
It was just you and I? Oh.
That first 40 minutes was a waste.
First 40 minutes, that's
fanfare.
I remember
right
you
there.
guys saying you didn't like it, so I didn't want to watch it. It was on HBO and I just...
No, we liked it.
the Killing
actual
Joke part is
Killing Joke.
great.
They just add a
great.
bunch of fluff to
Do you know
make
who
it a
added that
feature.
fluff? Brian Azzarello.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote that.
Oh. I mean, it's fine for just for your own take on something, but oh man, that adaptation is fucking amazing. And it takes out of that whole 60, 70 minutes, it's maybe like 20, 30 minutes.
You're right. It is considered in continuity now. Now I feel bad about it. All-Star Superman, go back to episode whatever and listen to.
But
we
to
talked
make you
about
feel better, they retconned it so that she didn't get shot.
Boom, there we
she
go.
gets shot
Out
in the
of
spine,
continuity.
but then I don't know.
Well, but
she
the way
gets
they
healed.
fixed it is that they got these not robotic legs, but these
Micro
things she
now.
wears. Yeah.
Just like Rick Ruck, Lazarus.
Yeah.
And what's her face from Arrow that we want to kill? I don't know. What's her name?
Who?
What's the girlfriend's name in Arrow? Not girlfriend.
Smoke.
Felicity. Sorry, spoilers.
What is she in?
She gets like a little microchip that makes her walk.
Oh. No. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Ultimate Spider-Man. So I'm going a little wider in scope than Marvin. From basically issue 1 to I think it's issue 121. Everything from 1 till the death of Ultimate Spider-Man.
It's 150, isn't it?
No, 150.
No, 150 is the entire series. Because starting in 122, I believe Miles Morales comes in. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He shows up before his own book even.
Yeah, he shows up
Yeah,
before
he's
his
an
own
awesome
book.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You can check that, whatever. It
just
could be
wanna check.
150, I'm not sure. Anyways, 1 to whenever the death of Spider-Man is. What a fucking great series that does not take place in continuity. And out of anything I've ever read by Brian Michael Bendis, with art by Mark Bagley, not saying that Bagley was on it the whole time,
121?
but it was one of the greatest comic book series I've ever read. No, it's not. Okay, maybe it's 150. I read this comic. This is the first comic book series I read all the way through. Like all the way through, not counting the Miles Morales stuff. Man, I thought Peter Parker was more relatable. His supporting cast was more relatable. There was parts in this that like fucking gut punched me. There was parts in this, like the death of Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man issue itself, or like the arc, is one of the most dramatic arcs I've ever read. And there's actually a YouTube animated comic that you can watch online. And there's like a really good voice cast for it. Oh, it's fucking good. The death of Spider-Man, I was getting misty by the end. Like it was just so emotional, so impactful. This is Spider-Man how it should always be. I know it's out of continuity, but this is how Spider-Man should have been, I think. And like Dan Slott should read those 160 issues and learn a thing or fucking two.
Yeah, the sad thing, he probably has read them and goes, fuck that. That's not the way to tell a Spider-Man story.
I'll make Mary Jane, but as a midget.
And I think that's what makes the Spider-Man 2 series so much of a disappointment to me is that I know Bendis can write a good Spider-Man.
Right.
So like it's like, write a good Spider-Man story, and he gets on it, and it just feels like he doesn't know what to do with it.
This feels like Frank Miller 20 years too late, you know?
I really like that old Spider-Man. That's the only thing. It's 160 issues plus the Miles Morales stuff. But where I sat down and was like, let me read 160 issues. And I read it like in 2 weeks. And then I started jumping on.
Because they're only like
Miles.
20-page comics, 20, 30 pages. And like, but they're so good. Like it was like watching Breaking Bad for me. It's like, it'd be like 1 a.m. Now I'm gonna read like another issue, maybe another 2. And then I'll go to bed. You know, it was just one that kept me going from issue to issue. And it's so fucking good.
Alex, what's your number 2?
Old Man Logan.
Old
I know.
Man
Not
Logan.
a surprise.
Mark Miller again shows up in this list with Steve McNiven.
God, that's good. So, you know, he's out in the wasteland being a farmer. He's got 2 kids, boy and a girl. Those fucking Hulk. I'm going to just call them Hulklings.
I think aren't they called Hulklings?
Can I
Hulk
just,
gang.
before you get into it, cut off any kind of feedback that we get? I know that this story takes place in actual, like in Wolverine, it was like an arc.
Yeah.
But it's so out of continuity. Like when Old Man Logan got put into this universe, 616, they act like it's a different universe. So that's why.
Well, I think they meant for it to be like an Elseworlds tale.
Well, I was saying now that it's currently a book out there being called Old Man Logan. I would assume, yes, he makes reference to things, but there's things that are different from the original that came out and what they talk about now.
There's been a lot of times they don't put these stories in the actual issues of the main series, and this one actually was.
Yeah, I've actually looked to get into the main story. Anyway, so you got the Hulk, the Hulk gang is coming around. They own this part of America where I think it's split into fourths. I thought it was Doom, Kingpin, the Hulk gang, and there's someone else. Maybe it's probably Red Skull.
Red Skull, it is.
Okay.
He wears Captain America's mask.
Yeah, that's creepy. But so anyway, the Hulks kill his family, kill all of Wolverine's kids, kill his wife. But it's after, isn't it? He's gone on this mission to go do whatever the Hulks wanted. Runs into Hawkeye, who's blind. He's got that sweet spider buggy.
You know what the thing is about that Spider-Man? Because you just said Spider-Man.
Yes.
Old Man Logan story is that Mark Miller takes, and maybe that's the first time we got that he's really good with like 6 issues. Is it 6? It's like 5 in a large issue.
Yeah, it's 5 plus big issue.
5 a giant size X-Men. Wolverine. The first time that we got was like, oh, Mark Miller writes a good mini. So like it was the first time, like it's really concise and like it really was like it really could have just been that. They decided to do more with it, just like Killing Joke. But for the time, it was like, oh, here, like people were like, wow, this is really different and like really is taking a character that we know, but also being like, what happens if? And Marvin does that a lot, what ifs. But this was like, okay, when he's old? How does he deal with that? And we got a movie out of it, Logan, where basically it's Old Man Logan. Well, I mean, the details are different.
It's how does the man that what he does is not very nice. What happens when he kills his friends? How does he deal with it? How does he live through that grief?
Yeah.
And
a man
so,
that's used to doing bad things, what if he does the ultimate bad thing and betrays his friends and kills them?
I'm saying it obviously was not an intentional choice. It was something that he was tricked into doing, but for the rest of his life, he chooses never to use his claws, never to kill anybody, never to do what he used to do.
The peaceful warrior. Snake. Hey, in Legacy, did you like him popping his claws?
Except they looked like little stumps.
I said they were little stubby
The angle
things.
was like off.
Like I tell you what,
pop.
like, if that is a book that comes out where it's just Logan or Wolverine, yes, I will get it to give
Looks
it.
like he's gonna.
What if they called the comic The Best There Is?
Holy shit. Well, there was one though. That book you got me. The Best
That was
There
called
Is.
Wolverine The Best There Is. What if this was just called The Best There Is? Number
They
one.
got to put Wolverine on that cover.
No, you fucking don't. Featuring Wolverine. There, I fixed it for you.
What they should call it is because it looks like he's going to be walking the U.S. Wolverine grounded.
I'm not getting that book. It'll have the beer truck in the
I was saying
background.
it's going to be
He'll lean
Wolverine,
up
the beer driver. God. You know, that is actually one of the other ones that is the first for me to have read. Civil War is probably my first Marvel book to have read. I know it's not. I know it's in continuity, but this is probably a close second for me.
Old Man Logan. If you're looking for, we didn't bring that up for first time readers. That's something you can read. Old Man Logan. Go get it. Mark Miller, Steve McNiven.
Mackie Mark Miller.
Mackie Mark. My number one for the list, the whole reason I wanted to do this list, Superman Secret Identity,
That is also my number one.
is, have you read it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Not even on your list? Superman Secret Identity. Close.
Well,
enough.
hang on. It depends on what my first is, because this might have to be my first.
What is your first?
Does Long Halloween count? Or is that in
yeah,
continuity?
that's not in continuity.
Is it not?
You heard it here first.
It's not
Killing
continuity.
Joke and Long Halloween? Not in continuity.
That's a good question. I thought actually that took place in Detective Comics.
I think it premiered in there, but it was never meant to be in continuity.
You guys pine it over.
Superman Secret Identity is one of my favorite books. Kurt Busiek with Stuart Eminem doing the art, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking about it the other day. I don't know why, but I was like, I got to reread that again. Oh,
Same.
Because I got Astro City, that issue with G-Dog.
I bought you Superman Secret Identity, didn't I?
I know.
Yes. That's one. That's the one that goes down in my history as the greatest graphic novel gift I could give to somebody.
That was
for
when
Marvin.
you hit.
I gotta
That was
think of
when you
yours,
hit the
yeah.
bullseye.
I can't remember what I got you. Something.
That was when you hit the bullseye. Like,
Yeah.
it's very hard to buy. Just do a side table here, quick, or a side bar. I find it hard to buy comics for somebody because like, especially like I think I would know you guys' taste, but a lot of times when we buy stuff, I'm like, maybe he'll like this. And you'll be like, yeah, it's good. But I don't think I've ever gotten you guys anything. Like, I haven't hit that mark. But for Secret Identity, you did. You were like, Marvin's gonna like this, and I was like,
Yeah.
buddy, top 5.
It is such an emotional and powerful story. It's one of those perspective stories again where you have somebody that just has some fucked up parents that called him Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Which is probably gonna be me someday. Call my kid Clark. My last name's not Kent, so it doesn't fucking matter.
That's his middle name.
But
Yeah, wasn't it just a spin on him? It wasn't his last name, was it?
his last name was Kent.
It was okay.
Yeah. And I think his middle name was Cal even. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he made a little joke that his middle name was Cal, like Clark.
But it's like a story basically like, yeah, what if all your life you were given a name and people are like, oh, are you Superman? Or are you going to live up to being Clark Kent? And he hates it for so much, people calling him that, and then he gets powers. And then he's like, well, let me live up to my name. And so it's a whole 4 issues, right?
4 prestige format.
4
Yeah, so
issues.
that is awesome to have that in issues.
Of him trying to live up to the name of Clark Kent, Superman. And then for me at least, and then later on when he has kids, like trying to teach them.
Dude, I guarantee you read that book now that you have a kid, you're gonna fucking die.
I know,
like, you're
right.
gonna bust in a tear.
Back then it was like teary eyed, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, see, I was teary eyed.
Like today, it would be like I'd be crying and be like, all right.
You'd lay down
only
a
in
plastic
issue 1.
You'd like have like a plastic cover.
Dude, I listened to the Rocky score last night. I got teary eyed.
Oh shit!
Like, this shit's going into overdrive. It needs to stop someday.
I'm gonna give you some fucking.
It's really that is something. I don't even think we brought that. Would you bring that up for first time readers?
That would be a great.
Oh no, we
issue.
did. We did to bring it
I
up.
think we
That's-
should
I think we would have it
For a while, it was out of print, and I was like, that's when we were looking for it, or when you were looking for it, and then our shop actually had it in issues, and first off, he bought it for himself.
Well, or go fuck yourself.
And then I was like, man, you got that. That's something I really wanted to get into. And then for Christmas one year, here we go, issues. Garrett gave it to me.
I could never give that as a trade. It has to be given in prestige format issues. It is each of those covers too are fucking great.
Kurt Busiek is a great writer to give you perspective, like you said. This Marvel's Astro City does it a lot, where he's like, "What? Let's tell a story like from somebody looking up at superheroes, like looking up and trying to be a normal person in their world and trying to live up to being like, I guess there's heroes. Like, what can I do?" And he does that for a while in here, and then he gets the powers and tries to learn it through them. And then also like I don't want to talk about it too much because I want you guys to read it. Yeah, it's just a good perspective story and good story to like makes you realize who Superman is, and he's not really a big part of it.
If you're looking for somebody to get the actual heart of who Clark Kent Superman is, like Kurt Busiek with the help of Stuart Immonen, like it's like any great collaboration. They make this story complete. There's a reason this doesn't take place in continuity because it doesn't belong in continuity. You know, it's its own thing.
DC announced they were going to try to do Elseworld movies, which I think is like crazy. It's like, well, you're going to confuse people. Yeah. But I think they could do a Secret Identity movie. Oh man! Like have Superman be in that world. Like have it be Henry.
Well, they had planned because I thought it was like Mark Miller even or somebody was planning a 3-movie trilogy of Superman that was his whole life.
Can't remember. Yeah, I think it was Mark Miller.
It might have been Mark Miller.
He pitched it, I think, to DC. And they were like,
and then he made it into the best graphic novel of all time. So,
yes. But yeah, this is something they could do, being like just showing a normal person, like looking up the Superman, being like, how do I, like, oh man, I wish I was Superman. It's like, well, you can be. Like, you don't have to have superpowers to do what he does. Like to help out in your own way. I mean, he eventually does get them, but like he learns throughout after he gets powers. He's like, you know what? I didn't need these. I could do all this. It's a really great story. I like it. And you know what makes me super excited is that Kurt Busiek is doing a Batman version of that now. It's coming out next year, I think.
Yes,
he's been releasing covers online on his Twitter, and maybe that's why Tooth and Claw is delayed.
If that's the case,
that's what I thought too.
Take your time.
I just thought about that yesterday. I was like, man,
it's supposed to take place in the same universe, so I'm a little worried about that because I don't know if I want like Superman to like fly by. But
you know what? Also, it kind of reminds me of if you're a fan of Iron Giant. It kind of was a little bit Iron Giant kind of vibes.
Yeah, there's a lot of innocence in this story. Yeah. Like he learns as he goes. Like even when he's a full-grown adult, like it's not like he's arrogant ever. Like being like, oh, I'm Superman. Like fuck you, you know.
It's great. I would recommend it.
Superman say fuck you.
I know you just said that to try to find it in issues, but if you can't, actually, after you gave it to me in issues, they re-released the trade because it was out of print for a long time. Right. So there's a new trade out, and so if you want to read it, go get that.
I mean, the trade. I think
it's on Hoopla too.
Yeah, you can read it in trade. I'm just saying to miss out on those covers, which I'm sure there's like cover pages, for each break in the 4 issues.
But it's nice when you have. I mean, like you said, it's that pristine. It's that cardboard feel or glossy cardboard. Just. It's like having your own little books.
Right. You're getting your money's worth.
Batman Long Halloween was a limited series on its own, so I'll count it.
Score.
Go ahead.
Biggest reason for loving this book?
My number 2, Batman Long Halloween, since Killing Joke is out of continuity. Right.
Detective work. That is honestly the biggest point for me. It's my favorite part about the Batman is detective work. When it's a whole year's worth of him trying to figure out who the killer is. Talking to Calendar Man, of course, Marvin's favorite, along with Kite Man.
March.
But isn't it a retelling? This is his first year, right? as Batman.
I didn't think it was his first year.
It's
Because I thought
early
it's-
on, but I don't think it's year one.
It's
Because
the
I
first
thought
time.
it
Two or three.
ties in because he's dealing with the Falcone family.
You know what? I got to pull it up right here. Go ahead.
Yeah, check. Because I thought that it does have parallels to where he's like, you've eaten well. Like, that kind of part in his history.
I guess I would assume when he's taking on the crime families.
Yeah.
So, because it's not just Falcone, isn't he taking on the Maroni family as well?
Right, he's taking on all the families.
All the big families in Gotham.
Right. And still, villains are appearing, but not as
Plus,
much so.
more importantly, that's the making of Two-Face.
Dude, no wonder this is fucking up your alley. Like, this is...
I tell you what.
In continuity terms, The Long Halloween continues the story of Batman Year One.
So,
really?
I'm saying
So it's probably year
parallels
two.
to it, yeah.
It's probably year 2 or year 3.
I forgot. You know what? I need to reread this book. This is one of those books that.
That's what I just thought too, and I actually looked over and I realized I forgot that David has my copy. Bring it back. It's been a year.
And then you read Dark Victory.
And then I'd read Dark Victory because I tell you what, back to back, those would be amazing books.
I have
Long
not read
Halloween.
The Haunted Night, though.
I don't think you are on the same page, but I believe Batman: The Long Halloween is the best Batman story. What do you think?
Oh, well, between that and Dark Victory.
You're saying that's like for you, that's a whole thing.
That's the
Did you ever read the other sequel?
The
Haunted Night. I have not read that.
No, not Haunted Night. Haunted Night was first, right?
No, that's third.
I just read it. Right here.
Long Halloween, Dark Victory, Haunted Night.
I thought I just saw it here. It said, Batman: The Long Halloween. It was a follow up to 3 Batman: Legend: The Dark Knight Halloween specials.
Oh, so that was first. I thought
Yeah.
that was always third.
It's the-
I always read it as third.
Oh, fuck.
Those came out first, and then it was Long Halloween, and then it was Dark.
Where he goes up
Victory.
against what is it?
Holy shit. I don't know. I haven't read it.
Joker, Scarecrow, and I think Penguin.
Fuck. I need to read that now.
But also, it says here, Catwoman: When in Rome is also the sequel to Long Halloween.
oh, cool.
That's on Hoopla too. I've been reading.
But that's about her and her dad, right?
There's a part where in Long Halloween where she leaves for a while to Rome.
Yeah.
And that's the story. That's came
cool.
out. So it's a nice little story. Like in terms of continuity, it does it's not different than the Batman that we know, but it's like inside of being like, how was he like when he first started? Like not year one, but like when he first started being like Batman. Because year one is kind of like what Ninja Batman. Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, so it's Bruce Wayne learning the stakes. Where
and this one's
is already
like,
he's Batman.
this one's like I'm Batman. Let's do this.
I've got a lot
Let's
of
get some
villains in
rogues,
town apparently.
Realized
already.
his parents skimped on really strong windows.
Tim Sale art, amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh. I mean, the way that he can blend Batman into the night, fucking great.
I think this for me is the staple of what Tim Sale art looks like. But then that Captain America white, that was a nice reprieve to see what his art looks like now.
Right.
That is something if you're looking at Batman year one, and then Long Halloween. If you like that, go and read the Haunted Night and then Dark Victory. And see those. Yeah, you know what? Dark Victory for me was okay. Mainly because I think the story structure of Long Halloween is tighter. Like it's 12 issues, 12 months, 1 year. But Dark Victory, I think it's because Robin. That's like Robin's first year with him. So
Which is he shows up in year
it's a nice part of the Batman lore. It's good. It's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Good.
Yeah.
Redeemed yourself.
I say fix that for that
Dude, and I can
Crisis.
it's fucking weird, but that cover is like,
It's got almost like a.
it's not cloth, obviously, but it feels different than anything I've
What are you
ever
guys talking about? What cover?
for the Long Halloween.
You've got the original, don't you?
I have
No, you have the
reprinted one.
You've got the
New
one where it's his.
Yeah.
You've got the same cover. It's got that kind of, I don't know,
Really?
Swedish. Maybe yours is used so much.
Mine just feels like paper.
Oh no, mine's got that weird texture to it.
Right. And I can just feel myself holding that book and reading through it. It just feels like that one you feel like you're getting your fucking money worth.
It's like that book got like wrapped in skin. You're like, oh, all right, that's good.
Bat skin.
Bat skin.
Bat Skin, those are good stories. If you're new readers, go ahead and pick up those. Odd continuity. If you're not, it actually.
Identity Crisis continuity.
If you're a guy,
don't read it.
If you're a guy, and this is a guy I've seen at comic book stores a lot. I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying there's people that are like, nope, I only read stuff that's in continuity. Everything else doesn't matter. These are good stories. Like, read something else that's out there. You know what I mean? Secret Identity. If you're living your life never leaving, I talk about All-Star Superman a lot. But I love that story. But I think if it came down to a gun to my head, again, like last week, if they were like, Marvin, I'm going to burn one book and you can never read it again. Like I'm burning every copy. Secret Identity or All-Star. Secret Identity, I'd be like, maybe leave that one. Like I'll take that one instead. All-Star I love, but like the 4-issue Secret Identity, like it does really, it's more emotional for me.
Right. It gets on a more personal. And All Star is a great story, but you can
is.
remember that story in your head.
It's like if All Star is a 1 in my book,
Yeah.
Secret Identity is a 1B. You know what I mean? It's still up there. It's tied.
Right.
Very, very. It's like I think All Star is just because it's longer. There's more to it that I can be like, yeah, that's number 1. I like the 12 issues, but the 4-issue story is just like amazing. I love that book.
I need to reread that one too.
There's a part. I don't want to give too many spoilers away. But there's a part when he has his kids and they're like flying in the sky. I'm fucking freaking out. But yeah, really, like that's like my favorite part of that whole book. When he's like watching his kids flying.
Right. That's the only thing that I've been thinking about when you guys talked about them. I was like, yeah, I remember that.
It's like one of the most heartwarming. I mean, there's tragedy in it, but it's like one of the most heartwarming stories of all time.
Uplifting and
Full
inspiring.
Hope. Yes.
Let us know what your favorite out of continuity. Like I said, missing out on a lot. I got to actually catch up on a lot of Elseworld out of continuity stories. Wednesday Comics 605 at gmail.com. Find Garrett 2188 at. Oh, he's at Garrett 2188. For some reason, I refer to you just right now, being like that's your name. Find Garrett, but find him on Twitter, Garrett 2188 at Alex Pastrello or Pastrami_news. Find me Marvin _Saguero. By the way, we've had a lot of requests to be guests on the show recently. If you want to be on the show, send us an email, WednesdayComics605 at gmail.com with your availability and like that you want to be on the show. Because so many people ask me, I just forget. Like, and then they be like, "Hey, what happened to me getting on the show?" And I forget. Send me an email. Like, I need to.
He doesn't have a steel trap.
No. Like, if somebody asked me and then like 2 days later, it's out of my head. Facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast. You can find us on there. Like us on Facebook. And also, hey, if you got people you think might be interested in the show, you can share the page and they'll like it too. Be like, hey, check out the show. Like it. Let's get those likes up. We've been at 70 something for a while. 77?
On Facebook?
Yeah. It's been kind of... Oh, thank you for everybody on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube. You'll see video of the show. Wednesday Comics. Subscribers are growing over there. A lot of movement on YouTube. A nice community over there. If you ever want to see this guy's face, that guy's face, this guy's face. Also the bell. Want to see it in real life? Here we go.
Yeah, take a good look. So I don't know if we'll be here by 100.
You're going to want to... Here's the thing. If you're an audio listener to this show and you're like, hey, boy, I like the audio. I can take it with me on my podcast, listen to it while I'm working. Get back to work, first off. And no, I'm just kidding. But for the video, especially for the things we've been planning for the upcoming 2 months, we have coming up. Let's just let the cat out of the bag. Halloween. We're going to have a Halloween episode where we're going to be in costume. We're going to have a Thanksgiving episode where you're going to want to see the video. Get the video, subscribe. Like, so that way you remember when it comes out, be like, you'll get a notification, be like, oh, the video's out. And then you can watch these. It'd be more visual. I like to have the show being audio first, but those ones there's going to be visual extras. So subscribe to us on YouTube and enjoy. What else? There's something else too. Oh,
next Thursday, read that book.
Next Thursday, I just don't care.
Hey guys, you remember that thing I was telling you about that you want to read one issue a day with me?
The Wednesday.
See you Wednesday.
Wednesday Comics League of Extraordinary Gentle People's Book Club. Umbrella Academy Volume 1, The Apocalypse Suite. We're going to talk about it next week. Send your feedback. Some people have sent feedback already. We'll talk about that. We'll review it. We'll talk about...
Are we still talking about other books that week?
I was going to say 6 books, I assumed. Free talk 6 books, and we'll talk about...
the whole book club?
We'll talk about it. That's an off-air topic.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to talk to you guys about that. We'll talk about that. Also, some news, like how it's going to be on Netflix, all this stuff. There's a lot to talk about with that. So we'll talk about that next week. And then we'll also announce next week the next book for the book club to get your motors running. That'll be January... The first Wednesday in January. Not the first Wednesday, excuse me. The first Thursday in January, get your feedback in for that one.
That's the day after the first. I'm going to be so hungover.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I'm kidding.
No, I think it's 2 days after. I think it's the 3rd.
I'll still be hungover.
And then that's when we record the show. That way I can get it and put it in the show and stuff like that. If you have a voicemail, 605-215-1849. Send us a voicemail. If you have just a comment, it'll go to the end of the show, just like last week. Or if you have a question, we'll play it actually in the free talk, just like we had an email today. We'll talk about it, and we'll see what you guys are thinking out there. Let us know. If you have, I got a lot of people that ask me questions on Twitter or want to see us address something. Send us a voicemail. Let me hear your voice. In my ears.
Creepy.
We're so much in your ears. Let me hear you in my ears. You're right, though. So that came out creepier.
We're breaking through the fourth wall now.
I'm going to be in your ears.
Just
and
stop.
let you know that my name is Marvin.
Oh, crap. I think it's like you go out of your way just to say something stupid. It's like, holy shit. I've been Alex.
I'm presently Garrett.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Keep turning those pages.